F1 tonight, season 5, and we are about to get underway here at Albert Park for the first race of this season 5. Expect thrills, spills, and an awful lot more in between. The lights are coming on, and we are off for the start of this F1 tonight. Australian Grand Prix, great start there from the pack, coming down now to turn 1. This is going to be interesting because 5 and 6 into 1 do not go. Well, you can see here, look at this, Rob Baldrick already got up 2 places. Seb Bogart's dropped down 1, Davey Harman up 1, Nicky Visser down 2, Van der Berg has already moved up. We're coming down now to that turn 3. Oh, dearie me, the Ferrari going wide there. What is going on? Van der Berg challenging the Haas. They're coming round there. So Mercedes, well, Nicky Visser gets through, and he's already up into 4th place. Bob Baldrick is up into 2nd place from 4th. Seb Bogart's dropped down 1. Bastard does maintain his position, but everyone else is looking pretty clean at the moment. I don't think, oh no, we do have some clear.
Guido and Vandenberg, yeah, he's up to P4.
Yeah, he's done fantastic, up 3 places there. Seb Bogart's dropped down 1, so he's gone from 2 to 3. Rob Baldrick's gone up 2 from 4 to 2, and he is really up close and personal at this moment in time with that Renault of Basta Breen. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to F1 tonight. We are here in Sochi for round 16 of season 5. And let's kick off now. We're going through the Drivers' Championship. See the movers and the shakers. Well, Seb Bogart stays in top on 211 points. Damie Hartman, though, is getting ever closer. He's on 197. Baz de Breen for Renault is in 3rd. He's inching closer himself as well. He's now on 180. Rob Baldrick stays in position 4 on 129. Then we have John Donkel dropping down 1 from 5 to position 6. Up 1 from 6 is Nicky Visser, moving up to 5 on, I think I got that wrong actually, the points wise there, but never mind. Yeah, I got the points the wrong way round. It should be 128 Nicky Visser, 127 John Donkel, but there you go, I'm allowed an error. Then remaining in 7 is Marcel Dronig. He's currently on 71. Now this is the interesting one. Peter Phillips moves down 2 from 8 to P10. Mark Stappers moves up 1 from 9 to P8. Boy Williamson, oh dear, he's moved down 1 from 10 to 11. Guido Airshine also moves down 1 from 11 to 12. But who's in that 9 position? Well, it's Zander Hermans. He's moved up 3 places from last week, from P12 to P9 in the Drivers' Championship. Then we have Marco Pullen. He's dropped down 1 from 13. Hans van der Berg swaps over with him, moves up 1 from 14 to 13. Then we have Martin Pardagupa. He stays in P15. Jamie Collane, 16. Marcel France, 17. Miguel Tawney, 18. And Kevin van Delft, 19. A few movers and shakers there, and by the way, I was just going to say a few movers and shakers there, Adrian, but I haven't introduced you yet, Adrian. Good evening, Adrian. How are you?
Good evening. Present, of course, and pleasure as always. Thanks for the eventual introduction.
That's all right. You know, I thought you could introduce yourself by now. Honestly, why I have to do it, I really don't know. Right, okay, now let's have a look at this board, mate, because look, we've had some real movement around that midfield, haven't we, since last week?
Yeah, it's really sort of shaken up quite a bit. Sander Hermans, as you said, jumping. What was it? 3 places. Had a brilliant result, didn't he?
Fantastic.
Where were we last? Last week, Singapore, wasn't it?
We were in Singapore, indeed. Well remembered, Adrian.
Yeah, it's And, we were saying, weren't we? You know, he was. He's one of the contenders for driver of the day, certainly in that race. Didn't get it in the end, but it's absolutely brilliant stuff.
There's no need to be sore about that one.
No, certainly not. I think that's his. That's his best result of the season so far. Well, best result of his F1 Tonight career. I nearly said Synergy career. F1 Tonight career.
Ooh, no, you can say Synergy. Synergy is definitely allowed on F1 Tonight broadcast because they are a sister league, somewhat different, obviously, to F1 Tonight in their format, etc. But always welcome. But yeah, indeed. So yeah, quite a bit of movement, obviously happening around there. As I say, you know, he's moved up 3 places, obviously to that P9 position. But we have Peter Phillips drop down 2, Boy Williamson drop down 1, Guido Ershon drop down 1. Obviously, they had that collision right at the start of the Singapore Grand Prix. Marco Pullens dropped 1. But then you got Mark Stappers, he's up 1, and Nicky Visser up 1. And Nicky Visser is slowly but surely working his way up this board, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he did so well. He got his first win, didn't he, at Singapore last race?
Indeed.
It was a bit of an unlikely win, I have to say. Damien Harmon looked like he had it in the bag. But I think he disconnected, didn't he, at some point?
He did disconnect.
Able
technical
return.
issues. There was nothing he could do. Couldn't get back in, and that was it. That was game. Apparently, it was down to his cats again. So a bit of feline sabotage apparently came into play. Personally, I think he's just playing the cat thing a little bit too much now.
Absolutely, but no, fair play to Nicky. You know, it's not just luck that he happened to win that race. You know, you've got to be skillful as well, and he certainly was that. He's now. I mean, look how close it is now for that 4th place spot. Just
I think recently, I'm sure I heard a Mercedes driver say something like, "It's not the way I want to win it, but I'll take it anyway."
Yeah, I heard something like that recently.
I heard something like that. I can't think where it was, and I'm pretty sure it was a Mercedes driver, but never mind. Anyway, we digress. Now the interesting one here is Rob Muldering. He's currently in P4, has been for some time on 129 points. He had a race ban last week. He's got a race ban this week, and he's got a race ban next week. How does that work, Adrian?
Well, what it was I believe on the last race that he did participate in, or before that race, he was on I think he was on 5 penalty points. And the way that F1 Tonight's penalty system works is if you get 6 penalty points, you miss the next race, and if you get 8 penalty points, you miss the next 2 races. So I believe he must have picked up 3 penalty points in that one race, bringing him from 5 to 8, which means he misses 1 for the 6 points and misses 2 more for the 8 points. So that's why he's missing 3.
Indeed. Right. So that is the reason why we haven't seen Rob Muldering. And it's fair to establish that the points and the penalties, obviously you do get warnings beforehand, but if you repeatedly, cause or, have issues with bring on penalties, that is what happens. So I'm sure Rob Muldering's going to be coming back thinking, okay, we need to be a little bit more careful. And we want to see him back because he is a great, great driver. Just needs to curb that aggression a little bit and a little bit of thought, but nothing wrong with a bit of enthusiasm.
No, certainly not. No, we certainly don't want to punish drivers for racing, as we've kind of seen in the in the real life version.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk about that too much, but it does wind me up.
Winds me up no end. Okay, so let's have a look at who's actually. We've got 15 drivers participating with us this evening. We do not have Marcel France from Red Bull. We do not have, as we've just been discussing, Rob Muldering. We also don't have Peter Phillips or Kevin Van Delft because, Peter Phillips has also got a race ban. And Kevin Van Delft, sending you all our best, Kevin. Hopefully for you, for you, we know you're okay, but for your partner as well. I believe that she wasn't well and caught, and that's why he's not with this evening. So sending you all our best. We've also got penalties to serve. So Martin Parder Cooper has a penalty to serve, and Jamie Collane. So that's Ferrari and McLaren. They'll be serving that in Q3. Sorry, Q1. Q1 will go ahead and we'll be joining that shortly. Now, let's have a look at this Constructors' Championship. So, leading the way still is Renault on 307. Second are Haas on 282. Then we have Ferrari, they're on 229 in third place. Then Sauber, they remain in fourth on 187. Mercedes are fifth on 171. Then we have Toro Rosso, they're in sixth on 110. Force India 7 on 78. Williams 8 on 59. McLaren 9 on 56, and Red Bull bring up the rear on 10 points. Not a huge amount of movement. I mean, there is movement there, obviously, from last week, Adrian, but pretty much maintaining those gaps at this moment in time on that Constructors' Championship, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of leveling itself out as we draw closer to the end of this season. But yeah, I mean, Renault's still leading the championship. They have been, I think, pretty much since the beginning of the season. And yeah, I mean, it's certainly not a comfortable league. Only 25 points. But yeah, I mean, it can go either way. Ferrari, I still wouldn't count them out completely. They're only some 80 points or so off the top, and all it takes is a couple of bad results from the two above. And Ferrari will be
indeed. Well, we're 3/4 of the way through. We saw obviously, Haas. Seb Bogart was out last week. Marcel Drone was going and carrying the flag. Last week we saw Baz de Breen and John Donkel. I think they both went out. Or no, did they go? No, one of them went out. John Donkel went out. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's certainly possible for Ferrari to catch up to Haas. It's going to take some work, but I think the two drivers that can do it are Damie Hartman and obviously Martin Parder Cooper. So let's see what they can do this race. Right, let's move on to the track itself. So here we are, Sochi Autodrome in Sochi, Russia, famous for the Winter Olympics. Don't ask me which year. Okay, so
2014 it was.
Thank you very much, Adrian. I knew you'd know the answer to that. It's 5.848 kilometres or 3.634 miles for us Anglophiles. Then you have race length. There's a total of 309 kilometres or 192 miles. It's a bit like racing from here to Leeds. Interesting. Laps, 53 laps. 18 corners, 3 sectors as always. First sector, well, that takes us up to just before turn 5. Then the second sector just before turn 12, and then obviously the final sector ending there on the start finish. 2 DRS straights. First DRS detection point is just as you're coming down the start finish straight before hitting turn 1, and the activation is actually just after turn 1, bringing you down to just before turn 2. And the second activation point is just before you get to turn 10, get that right. And then the activation is as you approach turn 11, as you're going round effectively turn 11. It's classified as a corner. I suppose you could say it's not a straight, but it's pretty it's a bend, I would say, more than a corner. But there you go, it's considered a corner, and that's there leading down 11 into 12. It's an interesting circuit. I suppose that's the way to put at it. It's not. I've got to say one of my favourite circuits from a race point of view. What's your thoughts on Sochi?
Yeah, for me, Sochi is really grown on me in the last sort of couple of years. I absolutely hated it. The first couple of years I'd seen it and raced on it in the F1 games. Then it's just but no, more recently I've come to sort of like it quite a bit actually. It's definitely generated some good overtaking moments in the real life F1 as it has done in the last couple of seasons with F1 Tonight as well.
Yeah, well, certainly some great overtaking opportunities. Turn 3 is an opportunity if you're willing to get on the dirty side of the track, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. I wouldn't recommend that myself. I'd really don't like being on the dirty side on the turn 3. You're doing the sort of 160, 170 miles an hour at one point around that corner.
I have seen it done though, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. It's certainly an opportunity for an overtake.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're going to be luckily looking at, and there are obviously other areas where that can happen. Sector 2 is probably more likely where we're going to be seeing the overtakes happening, though, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, more than likely, especially down that DRS straight as well. Just as you come to the end of sector 2, expect quite a few overtakes down there. It's quite a short. It's deceptive on this map, but it's quite a short short DRS straight. So yeah, they just need to manage their ERS well, so they can just burn it during that period and make the overtake as quick as possible.
Indeed. Well, that's it. That's the Drivers' Championship, the Constructors and the circuit covered. Let's get over to the actual racing itself now. So,
just want to point out, Eddie, that drivers actually not it's not mandatory for them to participate in this qualifying session because we've only got 15 drivers.
yes, indeed. Well, we do have a couple of late arrivals. Just to see where that is. Zander Hermans for Toro Rosso and Boy Williamson for Mercedes could well be running late, so they might miss out the queue and might start at the back anyway. We've got obviously the guys starting at the back there, which is Martin Parder Cooper. So I had starting at the back. And Jamie Collane, so we can see them. They are 15 and 16 respectively. We are currently on board with Baz the Breen. As we said, there are sufficient drivers to go through to Q2, so Q1 just being treated a little bit as a practice, but also to give an opportunity for Sander Hermans and Boy Williamson to come into this. So let's get on board. Actually, with Baz the Breen, give us an idea of what we're looking at. And this is actually turn 3 is coming round now, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's one of my favourite corners, actually, turn 3 in the circuit. Something like 2.5, 3 Gs you pull to the to the right-hand side as you go around that bend.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, dear. A bit close there. Coming around 5, 6, 7 is around now.
Yeah,
then coming down to turn 8, the left-hander. Round turn 9. He's now coming detection point for the second DRS. Oh dear, cuts that round 10. And see the line
mode
there.
0. He's on a cooldown. I think he's coming in.
So he'll be coming in that case. And then we come down to turn 12. That's when DRS deactivates. And then round under the bridge, turn 13, 14. Onto that little straight there. Burns it up to 15. Right round turn 16, another little straight here. And it's quite a little sort of box section here, isn't it, of these turns?
It's very sort of Azerbaijan.
Yeah, it is rather Azerbaijan. You're absolutely spot on there. So Damie Hart, Marcel Dreinig, Mark Stappers. So Seb Bogart's in the pits. Boy Williamson, he's there as well. Interesting, Boy Williamson set the second fastest time with 1:32.0, but Seb Bogart on 1:31.4. I mean, that's a full, 7/10 nearly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. To be honest, I can't take this session too seriously because all the drivers know that they're already through, so you're never quite sure how hard any of them are pushing.
Indeed, you are not sure how hard any of them are pushing at all. So, there we have. Nicely timed there. So, only a couple of minutes remaining. I'm sure the drivers will probably advance on that now. But actually, yeah, Mark Stappers is still out on there. Now, tyre choice, we've seen a number of the guys, well, obviously everyone's gone out on the Hypersofts. What do you think we're going to be looking at here? Because I'm just trying to think of the tyre setup. So it's going to be Hypersoft, Ultra Soft, Super Soft, I guess?
And no, I think it's soft. I think the hardest is the soft tyre on this track.
So it's Hypersoft, Ultra Soft and Soft. Yeah, because this is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the one where Mark Stappers went a ridiculous amount of laps on these softs last season, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that was at Russia at the end. I remembered.
Well, not,
something
not
like
the
50
easiest
laps.
the ones to forget. I think he did about 50 odd laps.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember it because I was shaking by the end of it, and I wasn't even driving.
Well, he couldn't have done 50 odd because it's only 53 laps, but he certainly did a big number of laps, that's for sure. So, the Sauber driver coming into the pits. Now, the other thing about this is as well, is the pit entry and exit. It is quite slow, isn't it, this pit? So we're looking probably, what, about 22 seconds, thereabouts?
Yeah, it might be more than that. I mean, it's 37 mile an hour speed limit, 60 kilometers an hour as they come through there, and it is quite long as well. Also, the entry is very tight. The exit is obviously just straight on, but yeah, it could be as much as sort of 24 seconds, I'd imagine.
Well, that's certainly going to be interesting, and we know that will come into play. I'm just seeing if I've got anything on the weather. I haven't got anything on there, or have I? No,
Just,
I don't think I have.
just going back slightly, Eddie, to what you were saying about the pit entrance. I'm sure the drivers are aware there is actually a known, I don't like using this word too often, but a known glitch as you come into the pit. Sometimes it does give you a penalty for corner cutting, even if you don't cut any corners on that entrance. It's not even any warnings. It's just a straight penalty that has happened to me in my career, actually, offline.
Oh dear.
But
Well,
yeah, but you know, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to everyone.
Yeah, if it happens to everyone, and it evens itself out, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So, as I say, we got the two drivers there, Jamie Collane, Marty Parder-Cooper, Sochi Russia. So we're going to be going through now to Q2. From Q2, we will take the top 10, who will then go through to Q3. And let's see if I can get some sort of weather. So,
I can tell you the track temperature and the ambient temperature are 19 and 27 degrees, respectively.
Wow, what? So the track is 27 and track is 19?
Track's 19, yeah, it's a pretty cold track, to be honest.
It's 27 degrees and it's 19 track. That's a big difference.
Yeah, not often you see that.
No, not often at all. We can see, right, a number of cars already coming out. It's not the Ferrari. It's not the Haas. It might be the Haas, actually. I think it was. So that'd be the Haas of Seb Bogart. Yeah, I think Seb Bogart is indeed the first man out on track.
Yeah, followed by John Dunkel.
Now they are again. Now we see a little bit of a mix here. So we've seen the ultra softs coming into play. Seb Bogart on the ultra soft. John Dunkel opting for the softs. He's looking to try and get into that Q3 and get starting on those softs. That's a bit of a preferred option for him, isn't it? Going on the harder compound tyres and see if he can get through. I've noted.
Yeah, it is, and it's quite sensible, to be honest, because he's only got to beat 3 drivers. And I think he can do it on the soft tyre. It's worth a gamble, certainly. Probably wouldn't do it if it was a full, if it was all 15 here in the session.
Yeah, that is true. We are down to obviously 13 drivers for this current session, as we have the other 2 drivers already serving penalties. And that's Martin Parder-Cooper, who will be taking P14, and Jamie Collane for McLaren, who will be taking P15. So. He's coming round now, winding himself up round, getting ready to go. Final corner now, and this will be his flying lap. We'll stay on board for this one. It's going to be interesting to see how that's actually going to vary with John Dunkel and what sort of time difference we're going to see. Clearly, we will see a time difference, but I'd expect it to be probably around about a second plus, I would have thought.
Yeah, it's about 1.4 between the soft and the hyper soft. Although I think Seb on the
he's on the ultra soft.
Seb's on the ultra soft. Yeah, so it's going to be about 0.7, 0.75 between them.
Let's have a look now. As he comes round. Turn 5 into 6, 7. Sorry, I was saying 8, 9 there. Ready. Coming around turn 10, getting ready for that second DRS hugging that wall on the right-hand side to pick up that DRS and just staying with it, isn't he? He just doesn't really sort of take the straight line, tends to hug the wall.
Yeah. Oh, he's lost
and
it.
he misses 13, goes in too deep. Oh, dearie me. So that's a shame. So Seb Bogart, he has gone out. John Donkel is coming round now. So he was the second man out on track. Let's see what John can do.
Rare error there from the double world champion.
Yeah, he just went in way too deep on that turn 13, didn't he?
Yeah.
Seemed to completely miss his braking point.
have to start calling him Spin Bastion.
Spin Bastion.
I really hate that nickname.
Oh dear. So John Donkel takes 1:33.8, but Damie Hartman, good old Damie Hartman there, look at that. Nice 1:33.0. I think he's going to be relatively happy with that for the beginning of this queue.
Yeah, he'll be happy. He'll have wanted to beat John by possibly a little bit more than that. Sander Hermans, though.
Oh my goodness, but look at this. Sander Hermans.
Oh, that's on the...
He is on the Hypersofts, to be fair, but he's gone 1:32.5. But now
Hans Vandenberg's not on the Hypersofts.
No,
Hans Vandenberg's on the Ultras.
Hans Vandenberg,
and he's done another 32.5 himself.
Has just done a 32.54. Whereas Sander Hermans with a 1:32.59, so 500ths of a second between them there. But good running. I mean, obviously we're going to start seeing these times dropping down progressively, but not a bad old run there for the new father.
Yeah, absolutely. And congratulations again to Hans, as you say, new dad. Yeah, really impressive time there. That's he's going to be a contender for pole position, certainly, with a time like that on those tyres.
Well,
would indicate that he's got another.
Indeed, I mean he's on the Ultrasofts.
Half a second.
Sander Hermans is on the Hypersofts. Baz de Breen, he's on the Ultras, as is Damie Hartman and Guido Airshine. They're 3rd to 5th, respectively. John Donker was on the softs and he did a 1:33.8.
Eddie, sorry, yeah. Boy Williamson's about to go.
Oh, look at this!
Yeah, and he does.
Boy Williamson, fantastic run from him.
He's on the Ultras. Oh, Seb Bogard. Oh, no. Seb Bogard's in the pit. I was reading his previous lap. Apologies.
Don't get all excited now. So, Boy Williamson goes up into that 1st place. And he's in the 1:32.3. So, question I've got, Adrian, is are we going to see sub 1:32s, do you think?
Yes, I'd imagine so. With like the Boy and Hans on 32.3 and 32.5 on the Ultrasofts, that means that they've probably got about another 6 or 7 tenths pace on the Hypersofts when they come to use that in Q3. So yeah, certainly under 32.
Oh, Miguel Torney coming around now, still to set a time as Mark Stappers. And actually Torney straight into the pits. So Stappers coming round now. He's staying out. He's not going into the pits. Seb Bogart is on an outlap. He's still to set a time, as is his teammate Marcel Dronig. And Nicky Visser is still in the pits.
Yeah, Nicky has gone out for a lap, but he's come straight back in before completing it.
So clearly he wasn't too happy with that setup. Mark Stappers still not set a time. And I've got a report now on the weather. We are expecting it to stay dry, although it does look rather misty, doesn't it?
Oh, Bogart's time. Is this it? No. No, that was the end of his outlap.
Yep, Seb Bogart now starting his fast lap as he comes round turn 2 and round the long winding turn 3. You can really get some speed up round this turn 3, can't you?
Yeah, the thing is with the downforce, the faster you go, the more grip you actually have. So yeah, you can just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. It does burn out your tyres quite a bit, but yeah, I mean, as long as you're not on the Hypersofts for too long, yeah, you should be fine.
Tricky 6-7 combination right hand turn now into the lefts of 8 and 9. You've got to really watch it as you come to this 10. wind it up, get ready for that DRS, hugging that right-hand side as he comes down that DRS straight to...
Purple. That was a purple middle sector from Staff. It's P5 overall.
Wow, fantastic run there from Mark Stappers. Gets up into third row, P5, alongside Damie Hartman at this moment in time. Seb Bogart coming round now, and I've got to say, this is looking rather good.
Yeah, I'd beg to differ. His times are saying somewhat different. It will be enough.
Oh, it's a 1:32.1. Yeah, that's enough.
He's done that on purpose. He's done that on purpose, hasn't he? He's got white first sector times, white second sector times. His last sector's not even purple, and yet he's fastest overall. How does that work?
Ask me another. No,
I think it was
good. I mean, 1:32.1. He's beaten Boy Williamson by 2/10 there. Boy in the pits at the moment, so I mean, certainly a good run from him. We saw Mark Stappers; he hadn't set a time, and he's gone up to P6. Damie Hartman, though, at the moment is sitting in that P7 position. Who's jumped ahead there? So there was somebody that jumped up there. Must have been Baz de Breen. He's done a 1:32.8. So Baz pushed him down. He must have done, because Mark Stappers was in fifth.
No, it was when Bogard just went top.
Of course, Bogard.
Bogart's just gone top.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Guido Airshine is currently P8. John Donkel P9. And is he sticking? Well, you can stick with those, can't you? I mean, if he's in P9, he just needs to get ready to come out. There's 5 minutes remaining of this session. What he's got to be careful, really, is that nobody goes out there than Marcel Dronig or Nicky Visser and beat that 1:33.8.
Well, Visser is on course. Yeah, Visser's on course for a decent lap here. He's going to be second row at the moment. So yeah, he'll go ahead of John, and it's whether Dronig or even France will have another lap and get past him.
And Nicky Visser does not set a time.
Oh, was that? Oh, is he validated?
Now. He must have been invalidated. He's pushing on this lap, certainly. So he's just coming around turn 2 now. He's obviously got enough. He's got enough ERS, certainly. So he's winding up round 3. And I've got to say, he's looking far more aggressive than Seb Bogart. Seb Bogart was, I'd say, looking smooth, but Nicky is looking quite aggressive on this. I'm thinking you're probably going to see some purples, aren't you?
Yeah, may do. That first sector's not better than his original first sector. That's probably because he's having to manage his ERS a little bit in this on this qualifying lap. Because obviously this is his second run, so he hasn't quite got as much. He's in mode 3 rather than 5. 5 now, of course. So yeah,
the different style there is a lot wider around that DRS, not so close to the right-hand side.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing the drivers take different lines. Sander Hammer's on a lap, but he's just invalidated it. I was about to say that was a good first sector, but he's just gone off.
So Nicky isn't looking too bad, I've got to say.
Yeah, this will this will be 5th or 6th?
I think he'll actually put him 4th. Ooh, we split the difference. Oh, you said 5th or 6th, to be fair. So he puts that to P5. So John Donkel is now on that precarious hanging point of P10. He's going to have to be ready to go out. He has changed onto a set of ultra softs. I think that's just in case, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think he's hoping that he doesn't have to actually go out there and do it, but.
Well, he's only got about 30 odd seconds to make that decision. In fact, probably less than that. He's probably got 30 seconds now because he wants to get out there really, well, when there's about 2 minutes 10 remaining, I would suggest, to ensure that he gets around there. Oh, dear me, I've still got that up, so I do apologise.
So France has retired. I think he's crashed on track. I did see a yellow flag as he retired, so that's one less competitor for John to worry about.
Well, Marcel Dronig.
Just Dronig now.
Coming round sector 3, the final set of turns. I don't know where Marcel France went out. We might well see it ahead because he should be ahead of Marcel Dronig, but Marcel Dronig, struggling around that turn 15 to 16. That's going to affect him.
This isn't going to beat John.
No, I don't think it is. He's got one more run at it if he can. No, Marcel Dronik stays in that P11 in the drop zone, 134. What can he do? It's all down to this man. I would think, though, that I would suspect that John must be out on track, but he's not. He's still in the pit, so he couldn't respond even if someone did do something. Got to say, I'm a little bit, you know, personally, I would have got out on track around about 2 minutes 10 just to make sure I was on the track to set a time if I needed to.
Yeah, that's usually the best way to go. Is even if you don't have to set a lap, just be on track, just in case. But it's
a bit of a risk to take.
Yeah, it is a bit. But you know, once again, it's Renault versus Haas at first and second in the constructors, and they're fighting for this last spot in Q2.
Yeah, absolutely. Marcel Dronig is certainly giving it his best. He is pushing. He's got no ERS left at all. So
it's an improvement. Improvement on his best. I'm just comparing it to John's. Always 3 tenths up in the second sector, and he is 6 tenths up in the first sector. He's going to do it.
He is going to do it, and John Dunkel is going to get pushed out of this queue and into that P11 place starting on the 6th row. Not what he wanted. Yeah, indeed, Marcel Dronig comes over the line, takes P6. John Dunkel drops out and down into P11. Well, we did say, and I did say, he really should have been out on track there, giving it his all just in case.
Yep. Yeah, a bit of a mistake there from John, but you know, doesn't take credit away from Dronig's lap there. He did what he had to do, you know, when he had to do it. He had to give it 2 goes, but you know, fair play. He's done enough to get through. So,
indeed,
can't say too
good
much.
Good job from Marcel
Dronig.
Definitely good run from Marcel Dronig. Puts him up into P6, so he's in the fight. He's into that Q3, and that's what counts at the end of the day. So run through.
Sander Hermans, by the way. Sorry, Sander Hermans.
Fantastic.
Just saw that sneaking up into P2. 3 1,000ths faster than Boy.
3 1,000ths, and only a couple of hundredths off Seb Bogart. He really is doing some fantastic qualification times over the past few races. Really has. I know we've mentioned it before, but you know, he's been consistent as well with it.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, like you know, like we keep saying, like SOP can you know, translate that into points come the race, which I'm sure he can. He's proved it. He could in the last race.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's moved up 3 places from previous week. You know, Singapore last week pushed him up 3 places from 12 to 9. So you know, 5 races remaining. We are 3/4 of the way through, effectively, this season. And I feel very confident that Sander's going to have a very strong finish to this season.
Yeah, he's heading in the right direction at the moment. Let's hope his form continues.
Definitely, and he's going to be one to watch in season 6. We have seen drivers do sometimes fluctuate in how they're doing, but generally when they're on the rise, such as Sander Hermans, then they do tend to take that forward. But then again, we saw Davey Hartland, fantastic season last season, but not panned out for him this season. But again, he came back strongly last week in Singapore.
Yeah, that's the thing with Damie. Yeah, it's well, he had a great start to this season, didn't he? He was leading the championship over Seb for considerable time, but unfortunately he's been plagued with sort of technical issues and animal issues, feline issues.
Yeah. I think he ought to do what Lewis does, just get a dog. Okay, so there we have it. That is the end of Q2 now. So in the 6th row, well, who's going to be there? Well, it's going to be John Dunkel in P11, and Marcel France will be alongside him in P12. Then we're going to have row 7, And we know that Martin Parder Cooper is going to be in P14. P13 in this particular instance we'll come on to, and then P15 will be Jamie Collane in the McLaren. So P13 is Miguel Tawney, row 7 in the Red Bull. So the two Red Bulls side by side numbers, but one ahead of the other there. Two rows, row 6 and 7. John Donkel, as I said there, in row 6, P11. Guido Airshine, Damie Hartman, Mark Schnappers, Baz de Breen, Marcel Droney, Nicky Visser, Hans van der Berg, Boy Williamson, Zander Hermans and Seb Bogart going through to Q3.
Slightly earlier than usual, but do you want to call a pole sitter? Oh, well, we'll come back to that because we've just been kicked from the session.
Yeah, we have. Don't know why. No, we're okay.
Oh, they've done that.
No, it's doing it again. Oh no, it's spectate. Yeah, this does happen. I don't know why it happens, but it does happen.
So, as I was saying, pole sitter?
I was trying to avoid your question, to be brutally honest there, Adrian.
I'll go first if you want, just in case you do pick the same one as me. Or I've picked the same one as you.
Okay. All right, I'll let you have that one. Go on then.
All right, thank you. I'm going to go with Sander Hermans.
You're going to go with Zander Hermans?
Yeah, I really don't want to jinx him, but I'm going to have to. Yeah, I'll have to put my money on the line there and go for him.
Well,
Looks like he's got the pace here.
I can understand where you're coming from. That. Yes. I'm actually going to go with Boy Williamson.
Yeah, it's always a good call going for Boy. You know, we know he's got pace.
We've seen him pull it out of the bag before. I don't know if he hasn't pulled a pole yet. I think, though, to be fair.
He hasn't, but he has come from behind from in many races. Started sort of 15th in. Oh, I'm trying to think back now. Azerbaijan, I think it was. And no, it wasn't Azerbaijan. It was after that. I'm trying to think back where that was. But
German Grand Prix, Hockenheimring.
Oh yeah,
Or was it Monza? Monza as well. Sorry, Monza. That was the one.
Well, he's done it more than once this season.
Yeah, he has. He doesn't do himself any favours, obviously, getting in that position to start with. But that said, when he's really come through the field. There's been a couple of races where he started at the back of the field, and he really has come through that field.
Yeah.
Not so much last week in Singapore, because he went out on the first lap. That was the incident with Guido Airshine in the Force India, but not the best of ones. But yeah, he does come out. He is very strong, and I think although he hasn't necessarily had the positions this year, I've got a feeling he's learned a lot from starting where he has been on. Certainly at least a couple of races at the back of the grid.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes that does sort of favour drivers. Sometimes starting out the back, it gives them. I wouldn't say it gives them something to do, but it gives them something to. It's like a constant fight.
Yeah.
And some drivers, they relish in that, and it drives them lap after lap after lap to keep going, keep pushing, and don't slack. And that can actually help their overall race pace. At the same time, it can actually damage their tyres, so they do need to. There's a sort of a fine line between pushing very hard and managing the tyres.
Yeah, you don't want to basically shoot yourself in the foot. Is what effectively you don't want to do, rather.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Guido Erschine's another one of those drivers, isn't he? That's sort of massively. I don't want to say underrated, because he's very very highly rated. But he just doesn't. He's got the pace, but just doesn't really have the luck in the races and the consistency for one reason or another.
That's it. I mean, we've seen Guido setting some very good qualifying times, certainly some competitive qualifying times, but it hasn't converted in races. Okay, he's had a bit of misfortune. He had that coming together in Singapore, obviously last week, didn't help the situation in any way, shape, or form. But that said, he's just had. Yeah, it's not gelled, is probably the best way to put it, I guess. It's just not gelled for him this season, has it?
No, it really hasn't. Don't know whether it's the just the feel of the car, or or it's just pure just bad luck, and just can't seem to, as you say, settle.
I think sometimes it's just getting into the flow of it. If you're not in the right place and you can't get into the flow of it, it just doesn't seem to work. It's somewhat like trying to dance to a tune, but actually you're about a couple of beats off.
Yeah, that's a very that's a good way to put it, actually.
Your movement just doesn't it just doesn't look right. And somebody watching it, obviously we can't watch the movement that the guys have as such, so we don't. But it just doesn't flow right. And when you're in that situation as a driver, I think it's one of the most horrible places, because you're trying so hard, but it just isn't getting you anywhere.
Yeah, and the frustrating thing is that you know that you can do it, and whatever you do, it just doesn't work, and you ask yourself, well, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, indeed.
I've done
Well,
this before, and I just can't get it.
while we've been chatting, Seb Bogart has set a 1:31.479.
Yeah, phenomenal lap there, under the 32 mark as we anticipated earlier on. That's about on par with his lap in Q2. Obviously 7 tenths, actually he's 9 tenths faster than he did on the ultra soft tyres, and
Boy
there's about
Wilson has
7
set a
tenths between the tyres.
1:31.7. So Boy
Second driver to
Williamson,
go under 32.
second drive to go under 1:32. So he's gone 1:31.7. Baz de Bree is on a 1:32.0. Damie Hartman, 1:32.1. Hans van der Berg, 1:32.2. Zander Hermans also 1:32.2, but higher, 1:32.293. Then we've got Nicky Visser, 1:32.3. Marcel Dronig, 1:32.6. Guido Airshine and Mark Stapper still set time. Guido Airshine coming round now. And he's coming round for another lap as he's coming round turn 3. We were mentioning Guido. He did set obviously some good time there in Q2. I would expect him to be in that top 5, Adrian.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, sort of not much doubt in my mind that he can do that. I mean, you've got some fast drivers in the top 5 at the moment right now, but yeah, he's certainly worthy of a top 5 starting place.
Yeah, I mean, well, I say that. I mean, obviously, as you say, we've got some fast drivers up there, but I've got the feeling that he's got more pace than Hans van der Berg. And Sander Hermans, obviously, we've seen that he set the second fastest time in Q2, but I don't know if we've sort of taken one notch up. I feel that he will. I feel he will get ahead of Van der Berg in the Williams, though.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, I do rate Hans sort of quite highly in terms of his one lap pace. As I said, he's one of these drivers, a bit like Rob Moldering last season, or even this season.
This season.
Got just blistering pace over a single lap, but because he sort of he pushes 100% of the time in 100% race, you just ends up burning yourself out. And he just doesn't really get the results that he probably would be able to if he managed himself better. But yeah, certainly in qualifying, Hans, it's going to be difficult to beat Hans.
I've got to say, Irshine is struggling though. He still hasn't set a time, nor has Stappers. So they are clearly both struggling to convert that into an actual time effectively without exceeding their track limits, because that's what's cutting them. If those of you going around, you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, why ended up setting a time? I doubt there are too many of you out there, but for those of you that are sort of new effectively to the sport, what that basically means is that they've actually exceeded the track limits, and therefore their time has been scrubbed. It's been null and void, so they're having to go again. So that is, I mean, that certainly illustrates that they are pushing that bit harder, doesn't it?
Yes, certainly. I mean, when you're racing on the edge, or when you're driving any car on the edge of its limit, you're bound to make mistakes and go over the white lines just that bit too much. But that's just a sign of how hard you're pushing.
Yeah, it's a bit like when you're in your road car go around that roundabout or set of corners and you screech your tyres, you think to yourself, okay, maybe I should slow down a little bit. So Guido Eschine has now set a time. He's set a 1:32.7. We are currently with Mark Stappers, who still has to set a time. But,
his time is invalidated at the moment. He's about to start a hot lap. Sorry to interrupt you. Bogard is on a purple first and second sector. Again, this may be sub 1:31.
Seb Bogart coming around now.
Almost.
Oh, look at that. 1:31.084. That is, well, 0.6 plus faster than the next fastest, which is Boy Williamson. He really is laying it down though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, it must be demoralising for some of the other drivers there. I mean, credit to Boy. That 31.7 is, it's far beyond anything I could do around this track. Certainly under, because I can't get under a 1:32. But it must be tough doing 1:37.1 and 1:31.7 and not being on pole.
Yeah, definitely not the place you want to be. But I'm just fascinated by those two drivers at this moment in that third row. Hans van der Berg currently P5 and Sander Hermans P6.
Yeah, both on laps at the moment. Hans is looking to improve his lap. First sector is a couple of tenths better than his previous. Sander Hermans is on an invalidated lap at the moment.
On board.
Boy's faster in the first sector.
Sander Hermans is faster, is he?
Sorry, Boy Williamson in
right.
P2. He's only marginally faster than his best. How far is he off Bogard?
Hans van der Berg coming around the final corner now. What can he do? Oh, he moves up into third place, second row. Hans van der Berg. What a show from him.
Fantastic stuff. I told you he was good over one lap.
Yeah, it certainly is. Right, let's go to Boy Williamson now. He's coming around the final set of corners.
So Baz is improving his lap as well, currently P4. I'll just keep an eye on him.
Boy Williamson comes over the line. Stays
31.3, that is an improvement.
It is an improvement. He's dropped, 4 tenths there. He's gone down to 1:31.3.
Baz is purple in the middle sector, 31.7 in that sector, compared to Bogard's 31.7 as well, as equalled his time.
So Baz the Breen coming round the final set of corners now.
4 tenths down in the first sector though.
Can Baz the Breen pull out the bag? If anyone can, he can. Look at that! Takes that P3 away from Hans van der Berg. He will be alongside him in that second row. We do still have 2 minutes remaining, so we could still have a few changes there, but Baz the Breen moves up provisionally into that P3 position. What a great run from him. He really does like to save it until the end, doesn't he, eh?
He certainly does. I feel that he probably could have had P2 actually. He went wide on the final turn. Certainly lost probably more than the 10th. He looks like he's out of fuel now, so he's not going to be able to
definitely out of fuel.
Complete a lap. Oh no! He didn't cross the line before the time ran out. I think he was just on the money.
He was just there. Boy Williamson, he's coming round now.
Boy's purple in the middle sector actually. Yeah, okay. He's a 10th up on Seb.
So Boy Williamson comes over the line. Can he do this? 1:31.01. Oh my goodness. Do the math. I think that's
17.1,000.
17.1,000. That is just phenomenal. I mean, that's quicker than a gnat's wing, I think.
That is. And do you know the worst thing? His third sector was not his fastest sector as well. All he had to do is match his previous best in that sector, and then he would have been pole easy.
Well, what can I say with regards to that? But we see a bit of a mix here. Seb Bogart, obviously in that front row. We'll just run through that in a second. If I want to get rid of the graphics, sorry. Trying to do three things at the same time there. So there you have it. Seb Bogart will take that P1 position, front row. Alongside him will be Boy Williamson for Mercedes. Second row, P3, Baz de Breen for Renault. Alongside him, Hans van der Berg for Williams. Then we have row 3, Damie Hartman in the Ferrari. He's looking to try and catch up on Bogart. Doesn't want to be down in 5th place. He's alongside him. He's got the Toro Rosso of Zander Hermans. Then we have row 4, Mark Stappers in the Sauber's P7. Alongside him, Nicky Visser in the Mercedes. So Nicky Visser just not able to get it right there. Then we have row 5, Marcel Dronig. And alongside Marcel Dronig is Guido Airshine in P10. So we're just about to now go into the processional lap. So, Adrian, we didn't get either one of our guys up there, although I've got to say, mine one was closer than yours, but a great show, certainly from Zander Hermans. Who are we going to call for the win?
Oh my God. I think at this point it could be pretty much anyone. Well, certainly one of sort of 4 or 5 drivers. I'm going to go for Boy. I know I went for the guy who's P2
Right.
in Q2 for pole. I'm going for the guy who's P2 in Q3 for the win. So.
Well, I'm going to go for the man who needs to win this.
Damie?
Indeed. I'm going to go for Damie Hartman. So let's get on board on this processional lap. So there we have Seb Bogart for Haas will be leading the way in P1. Alongside him will be Boy Williamson in the Mercedes. He's in P2. P3, row 2, Baz de Breen for Renault. And alongside him will be Hans van der Berg in the Williams. Great show from Van der Berg, isn't it, eh? He's up in that second row. I don't think he's been up there before, has he?
I think he has. I think he's
he did early on, didn't he? In one of the early races.
Yeah.
I think it was either China or something like that. He may have got up there. So he's going to be glad to be back up into that second row. Can he actually convert it into a pole finish? We will see what happens, or whether, well, not a pole, a podium finish, certainly. Maybe a pole, who knows? Then we have Damie Hartman. He's the man that really needs to win this. He's down in P5, somewhat out of position, I would say, really. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Adrian.
Yeah, he is out of position. He should be sort of normally first 3, isn't he? But yeah, we know what his racing is like, his racecraft and his ability to sort of pace himself.
Indeed. I think he's going to deliver a good one, definitely.
Yes,
and then we've got Zander Hermans in a Toro Rosso. Great run from him. He's in P6. Then we have there in P7 is Mark Stappers. So he's there for Sauber. Then we have Nicky Visser in P8. Marcel Dronig is P9. Guido Airshine is P10. John Donkel is in that P11 place. Then we have Marco Pullen.
He's out of position.
Sorry, not Marco Pullen. We have Miguel Torni. He's definitely out of position there. Then, sorry, Marcel France. Then we have Miguel Torni. And then Marco Pullen is in 14 and Martin Parder Cooper is in 15. So the drivers are now getting ready. The lights are out and they're off for the start. Oh, look at that! Straight there in the back. Who was that? That was Miguel Torni. Straight into the wall there. Oh my goodness, he certainly didn't want that. So Miguel Torni goes into the wall. Seb Bogart leads the way. Hans van der Berg is fighting with Boy Williamson for that second place They are side by side. Boylism just gets ahead of him. Hans van der Berg has moved up one. Sander Hermans moved up two. Damie Hart stays where he is. Visser. Well, Visser has dropped down up one. No, Bas de Breen has dropped down three. Goodness me. Nicky Visser up one. Mark Stapper's down one. Guido Airshine up 1 to 9. Marcel Joni down 1 to 10. Then we've got Marco Pullen. He's jumped up 2 from 14. And Jamie Collane up 3 from 16. Rob Mouldering.
Yeah, Baz has had a really woeful. Baz has had a woeful
terrible start there from Baz de Breen. Down 5
places. 3-second penalty as well. Yeah, and a 3-second penalty to boot.
Up 2. Sander Hermans up 2. Hans van der Berg up 1 from 4 to 3. But he was really challenging that Mercedes, wasn't he, on the opening corners there?
Yeah, absolutely. He was. He knows that he's got pace, and he knows that he's good off the line as well. Hans. Yeah, he's done well to sort of maintain it. Well, to gain the place. Actually, he's up from 4 to 3. Good start from the front 2 runners as well. Both away cleanly.
Well, we know that these guys are on the ultra softs ahead. The only one that we know is likely to be on the softs is John Donker. We'll come on to the tyres, but yeah. Definitely issues there. Into the pits goes Baz de Breen and Martin Paardenkoper. So do you think there was something to do with that collision that we saw at the back? But that was at the back, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Francer and his teammate, I think. It was Miguel Tuoni come off first. Didn't actually see the collision. I was riding with sort of P6 at the start. But yeah, I'm sure we'll get a replay sent to us at some point just to show us that one. Sander Hermans had a really great start as well, to be honest. He's up 2 places, up to P4. Damien Hartman did briefly go past him, but Hermans has been able to fend him off.
Yes, indeed. Damien Hartman did just about get squared, but Hermans pushed him out, stayed ahead of him. So Damien has got a fight in his hand. He hasn't lost a position. He hasn't gained a position. He's still in that P5, but he needs to make it work. Now, interestingly, top 6 all on ultra softs. Stappers is gone for the hypersoft option. Interesting call, but he needs to get through this field.
Yeah, that's the thing with using the softer tyres. You don't want to find yourself sat in too much traffic.
Sorry, Boy Williams to pick up a 3-second time penalty.
Oh, he has, yes. That's not what he wants. But, yeah, it's going back to Stapper's tyre choice. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting going on the hypersofts. But yeah, as I said, yeah, you don't want to be stuck for too long. He's got a bit of clean air at the moment.
He has. Let's see what he can do with it. He needs to get past Nicky Visser. Damie Hartman, in the meantime, he is right on the gearbox there of Sander Hermans, isn't he? He's not messing about here.
No, he's not. And Sander Hermans is actually really closing down on Boy as well. Only half a second or so between them. And Boy's actually making the move on Hans. Sorry, Hans 3.
Yep.
Hans defending.
Hans is defending very solidly there, but look at this. That straight line speed of that Mercedes is starting to show, but look at that. Hans van der Berg closing the door on him, quite rightfully so. He is not going to let him past easily, is he?
No, he's not taking any muck, shall we say, from the driver behind him.
He goes so wide, Boy, there. Just as he was coming round 9 on the exit, round out of 8 into 9. He's now got the DRS, but he's not close enough to that Williams ahead of him. And Van der Berg, look at this, he's up to P2. He's really doing well here. He's got past Boy, and now Boy is like, no, hang on a minute, you can't get past me. What's going on?
Yeah, Hans is relishing it at the moment. Yes, when I talked about him sort of giving 100% all the time. This is the time to give 100%. Is in the opening phase of a Grand Prix. If he can place himself in towards the sort of middle portion of this race, perhaps he'll have a bit of a more comfortable lead on Boy. I think he can certainly be on for a podium and maybe holding on to this P2 spot or even first. Who knows?
Who knows indeed, but Boy is not giving up. Neither Sander
Hermans.
He's left himself open. No, Sander Hermans goes into the back. I think that was actually who was that? He went into the back. Was it Van der Berg? But look at that. Sander Hermans is out. He's taken out his front right, and he is out. And that was turn 2, I think, wasn't it?
That was turn 2, yeah.
So Sander Hermans DNFs there. Miguel Tournier's DNF as well. That was on the start. I'm sure it was a Williams. He went into the back of there. Could have been a Mercedes, but I think it was a Williams.
Yeah, I saw Hans sort of brake quite early, left himself open to Boyd. Boyd went for the dive up the inside, but just completely missed his braking spot and went straight on. Didn't actually see the Toro Rosso appear at all in the views that I was looking at, but he was certainly in that, and he's obviously out of the race now.
Well, that's helped Davey Hartman. He's moved up to P4. Nicky Visser up to P5, and everyone's moved up one now from Davey Hartman down. But
this has not been a good.
Such a shame. Such a shame.
Yeah, that is a shame. And with the other Toro Rosso, Peter Phillips, not participating due to a ban, I think it was, isn't it?
Yeah. So that really is not helped them out at all. So unfortunately, Toro Rosso's out for this Russian Grand Prix.
Eddie P8, Jamie Collane, he's up from last up to P8.
And he is really closing down on the back of Stappers now. Look at this. And he's making a move.
Jamie.
He gets past him. Oh, but he goes deep. Way too deep there. And that was exactly Marco what I saw. Pullen as well there. He's backed off Marco Pullen. He's let Stappers through. But the question is here, well, no penalty there. He was ahead of him already on track. But Stappers goes wide as well. And Marco Pullen having to take avoiding action and not go back into the back of that Sauber. I don't know what's happening here. Stappers, look at, and he goes wide again.
Yeah, I think this is the thing, isn't it? You know, when you do have a little mistake, sometimes it can sit with you sort of mentally, and it can affect your racing for the sort of rest of the lap. Yeah, he's making a few mistakes, so a bit of a lock up.
Contact there with the front wing of Marco Pullen on the rear of Mark Stappers. But Stappers is just going wide on every single corner. He's got issues there. Surely there's something not quite right there. Are those Hypersofts just gone already? I suppose they could do lap 5. Plus, obviously,
it could be
your qualifying laps as well. He's probably done 7 or 8 laps on those. And Pullen going wide as well in the background. I think Pullen's just trying to sort of react, and Guido Airshine is now in the mix as well there behind Pullen.
Pullen's coming in.
Yeah, Pullen's coming in. He's definitely got problems. I think Stappers has as well, but he's staying out there. But Jamie Collane is on a real charge, isn't he? Look at this. Jamie Collane.
I was speaking to Jamie just before the race. You know, I asked him he told me what his target for the race was. He just wants points. That was his goal, 10th place. In fact, he's up to P7 before the pit stops. That's pretty good going in my book.
Definitely good going. So good run here from Jamie Collane, and he did start at the back of the grid, lest we forget, and he's already up to P7. So that's 9 places in my estimation.
Perhaps he's going for driver of the day.
He could well be. Now, let's have a look at this. Davey Hartman, he's closing in on the back of Boy Williamson. He's lost it here on this DRS, but that's because Boy Williamson's got the DRS on Hans van der Berg. And he's still looking to try and get past that Williams, and he hasn't been successful so far.
Not yet, no. I mean, he's matched Boy Williamson's last lap. I think he's probably a bit quicker this lap with Hans, defending against Boy and preventing him from optimising his lap. So yeah, he's certainly closed down the gap here.
So can Boy Williamson...
Boy's ERS is very, very good at the moment, though. That's helping him stay that bit further away from Damien as he'd like. He's finding it difficult getting DRS range.
Yeah. You can't actually see, you can just about see it. Different, obviously, cockpit layout in the Williams there, but you can see it just ahead. So Hans van der Berg he's controlling that ERS pretty well as well. Actually, I've got to say he's really showing some grit here. I mean, I know we're only on the early doors, lap 7 of 53, but he's looking good.
Yeah, certainly. I haven't seen any real major faults at the moment. Yeah, I mean, I know I said he left the door open to a boy at turn 1 earlier on, but I actually don't think he did leave it open. I think he just he left the door open, but he braked at the normal place where he normally brakes.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you on that one. And Jamie Collane is already now up to P7, as we said. He's closing in on the back of Marcel Dronig in the Haas, and he is really closing down on him. This isn't sort of like he'll be overtaking him soon. He is really closed down that gap now. Look at that.
Yeah, Jamie's got some pace on these Hypersoft tyres at the moment, and the fact they've done 7 laps. Although to be fair, yeah, he didn't participate in quali, did he? So he's got a couple of laps extra on the other Hypersoft runners. Having said that, yeah, he's really flying. Doing another lap now. Good ERS management as well. That's important on this track.
Yeah, definitely. So he is currently in P7. Mark Stappers is P8. Guido Airshine is P9. Marcel France in the Red Bull is P10. Basta Breen, he's down in P11. What's going on?
It's not a good day, is it, for the Constructors' Championship leaders? Both Renaults out the points at the moment, and both their main rivals, the Hasses, on for 25 plus. What's that? 25 plus 8. That's 33 points. That's that'll put them top of the Constructors' Hass if it stays this way by 15 points, I believe.
Wow. Well, this is definitely a it's certainly a driver's championship, we know, and they're going to suffer badly from this. But the Constructors, they could lose the lead that they've had in the Constructors right from the start of this season 5. I mean, how gutted are they going to feel? They've led 3/4 of the way, and then they lose the lead to Haas.
Just makes it all to play for, makes it that much more interesting, doesn't it, in the last few races?
Indeed. Marco Pullen for Force India, he's down in P12. John Donker, as we were referring to, he's behind him in P13. And bringing up the rear is Martin Parder-Cooper. Again, not a great one, but he is on the soft tyres, so that will help him out, won't it? I mean, it's certainly pushing up 2 or 3 places, I would expect.
Yeah. I mean, he did come in at the end of lap 3. Always Jamie just gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings there.
Yeah.
But Parder Cooper, he come in. I think he come in as a result of damage actually. But, Jamie's making the move on Marcel.
He is, and he gets past him, and he's stuck it. He's got it to stick. So Jamie Collane is now up into P6. Marcel Dronig, he's not going to let it go that easily. Coming around turn 3 into 4 now. But I think Jamie's got the pace. He's just pulling away already, isn't he? Look at this.
Yeah, beautiful move there from my fellow Synergy driver. Yeah, it's good stuff. He seems to still have the grip. I don't know how he's still got the grip in these Hypersoft tyres.
I don't know. I mean, as I say, he's done 8, including qualifying. He's probably done closer to 10 or 11 at least. So 11.
Well, Jamie didn't.
Oh, he didn't compete. Sorry, he didn't compete.
He?
That's right. So he has got clean Hypersofts, hasn't he? So he should be able to go. Well, I don't know. I think he's probably pushing it on this 9th lap.
Yeah, well, doesn't seem to be any chance of letting up. Hans has got past Boy. Sorry, Boyd got past Hans, and Hans just got the place back.
Place back from him. So Boy Williamson did temporarily get past that Williams, and he's going for it again. Look at this. He really is determined to get past him, but Hans is just shutting the door every time on him, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Damien just got a 3-second penalty as well for multiple warnings. Just cut the same corner that Boy did. Followed his line.
Damie Hartman is now zoning in on the back of these two. What do you do in a situation you can see Boy Williamson trying to get through? They both go wide.
Hans has gone well off.
Does stay ahead of him, but they both went wide.
Hans just went. Yeah, no, Hans just went off at 1. All yellows in sector 3. Marco Pullen's retired.
So Marco Pullen is out. Let's have a look where that is.
Just before the bridge.
Just before the bridge into turn 13, he's gone off there. We saw Bogart in Q2 going very, very deep in there. So that's it. Marco pulling for Force India is out. Hans van der Berg is under pressure from Boy Williamson, and Damie Hartman, as I was saying, he's lurking in the background there, isn't he? He's waiting for these two to find it out and make a mistake so he can take advantage of it.
Yeah, he is. I think Damie would have preferred to have been starting this race on the soft tyres, given the two drivers ahead of him and what they are doing, i.e. battling each other. But Boy's actually just
got ahead of Hans van der Berg round the DRS of 11, coming down to turn 12. He's made it stick. They're into the third sector now, and this is tricky. I mean, Hans van der Berg, he needs to stay on the tail of that Mercedes and take advantage of that DRS out of turn 1, doesn't he? Look at it, and he makes the move. Look at that! What a fantastic move! Gotta say, great move from Hans van der Berg there into turn 17. Cuts it nice, beautifully on the apex of the corner and takes the place back from Mercedes and Boy Williamson. Boy's going to be thinking to himself, Jesus, what do I need to do to get past this guy and stay there?
That was a top class overtake.
And he's just forcing errors. Look at that. I mean, what do you say there? Boy Williamson went,
there's a collision.
It goes into the wall. Contact in the front wing there, but look at that. Damie Hartman takes advantage, gets past, and Boy Williamson is out. He couldn't keep control of the car. He's gone into the walls, and that's it. Damie Hartman moves up to second place. Hans van der Berg drops down into third. Well, I mean, it was close driving. I don't think that was any sort of malice in there. It was just contact between the front wing of Hans van der Berg and the rear of Boy Williamson's Mercedes there. They were so close, but he definitely has got damage on that front wing. He's really having to fight and fend off Nicky Visser. I'm sure Nicky Visser isn't going to be too pleased with that. He just wants to get past him. Let me pass, mate. You're not going to get anything there. There you go. Nicky Visser goes past Hans van der Berg. Sorry, van der Berg's going to have to come into the pits now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I mean, the sort of silver line is perhaps that he was close to pitting in anyway. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I'm not a shooter. That's all I can say about that. Cause that's going to be difficult to try and apportion any blame in mine. I think that's all just come down as a racing incident. But
ultimately, I think it is a racing incident. They were so close. You could see them ducking and weaving. Hardly surprising indeed. Hans van der Berg does indeed come into the pits, and he's in now from P4. He's going to be going on to a set of softs, surely. Got to be, isn't he?
Yeah, I'd have thought so.
But look at this. All this happening, and now Jamie Collane, he's moved up to fourth.
He's going to be smiling from ear to ear at the moment.
12 places in 12 laps.
This race never ends.
12 places in 12 laps, Adrian. That's a fantastic run from Jamie Collane.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking, dare I say it, Max Verstappen style overtaking.
He's going to love that, is Jamie. Although I don't think Jamie's he's Dutch rather than Verstappen. He's Belgian, isn't he, Verstappen?
Well, debatable.
You can just see the fists in Holland now being shaken at the screen. I was only joking, people. Don't worry. I know he's your saviour and hero in F1.
But I mean, fair play to Jamie. Obviously, not all of those overtakes were on track. As we've seen a couple of drivers crash out, people have come into the pit. But we can't deny it. Jamie Collane is in P4 from last place at the start of this Grand Prix, and we're only 12 laps in.
P15, I think. Sorry, wasn't it? No, it's P16 because we got me cut. We did actually.
16.
16. So P16 to P4, 12 places, as I said earlier. So there you have it. He's up into fourth. Nicky Visser is into third. I think Nicky's going to be happy with that. I think he was thinking he was going to have to really fight like hell through this, and he still is got a fight on his hands, but he's up in P3, looking good. Damie Hartman in P2, he is going to be counting his lucky stars at this moment in time, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. To be honest, I think he'd be happy to finish this race in P2. Given the start that he did have, and I mean, he's managed to fight his way through. Just going back to Nicky Visser there in P3, I spoke to Nicky as well actually yesterday, I was asking him what he, if he was looking forward to this Grand Prix, if he's at all confident at Russia, and he said no, not really. He wasn't up for it. Didn't have the pace. So I think he'll be very, very pleased to be sitting in the podium position at the moment. Though for how long, I don't know.
Well, that is the question. And his teammate is out. Second race in the row, second DNF for Boy Williamson. Is he doing anything wrong, or is it just the luck of the draw?
For what, for Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's the case of sort of wrong place at the wrong time. It was an epic battle between him and Nans for a good few laps there, and unfortunately, it's just what happens when two drivers that are neither one is going to give the other an inch, and that is what happens. But yeah, that is racing. That is the nature of racing, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Unfortunately, it is the way that it goes. And they were so close, as I say. You're referring obviously to the stewards, but I've got to say, that to me, I know racing incidents are always on the mind of F1 supporters in the past week, but that was a racing incident. They were fighting all the way. There was just that little bit of contact, and it was unfortunate because it was round that DRS of turning. Oh dear. Sorry, I was just watching there. Marcel Droney going very, very wide there, going right off the track in turn 2. But yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? There was the slightest tap. You're going at 200 plus miles an hour down that DRS. It's going to affect stability, as we saw. Boy went into the wall on the right-hand side, came back onto the track, but then he just lost control again before coming down to turn 12 and went into the barrier, and that was it, DNF.
Yeah, that turn 3 is so heavily reliant on the downforce, as is much of this circuit. Actually, it's why the dirty air affects you so drastically. But yeah, getting in the dirty air out on turn 3 can be it's proven to be fatal, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, as I say, you're travelling at that speed. The slightest contact, steer off. Very difficult to maintain control, especially when you've got the DRS, that rear wing open.
Yeah, it does deactivate itself as soon as you press the brake. Sorry, but by that point it's generally too late.
Yeah, you're a passenger, really. I'm just watching the battle here between the two Renault drivers, because Vaz de Breen was closing right down on John Donkel. We have seen them work together. We have seen team orders come through, certainly during the course of this season. What are they going to do here? Vaz de Breen is on the softs. He really does need to get past his teammate, John Donkel, who's on the ultra soft. But John, I'm sure John will let him pass, but he's only going to let him pass once he sees that de Breen is actually going faster than him, really, isn't he?
Yeah, well, this is like a sort of classic Ferrari situation, because you've got one driver ahead on the faster tyre, you've got driver behind on the slower tyre, but so that the one behind will want to get past, and it would be asking the race, not race director,
well, in this case it'd be his teammate,
engineer.
Let me past.
Yeah, he'll ask to get past, but John is within his right to say, well, are you actually faster than me at this point in the race? And if you're not, then, well, no.
Yeah, it's pretty much it, really.
It'd make more sense to me to keep the soft tyre driver in front.
It would, but if he hasn't got the pace, what's the point? So John Donkel ahead of Vaz de Breen, as they are at this moment.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I think once they get a little bit deeper, I think that will change. Certainly Baz is staying on the coattails. And ideally what they really want to do is John to really close down that gap to Stappers in the next sort of 3 or 4 laps, and maybe give de Breen a chance to, get a bit of a tow, maybe down one of the DRSs to take a couple of places. They got Stappers 7 seconds down the road, and they got Hans van der Berg another 7 seconds ahead of him.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, we're just seeing Jamie Collade into the pits, and also Nicky Visser into the pits. So they're coming off those ultra softs.
Jamie's unfortunately suffered that dreaded glitch as you come into the pit lane. It's not a time penalty, or it gives you a 5-second stop go for corner cutting. If you, I don't know if it's random or what.
Now he's
when you
coming
come into the
out
pit
ahead
lane,
of
it
Hans
does
van der
it.
Berg, and they're going to be side by side coming into turn 1. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, but Hans van der Berg gets ahead. Jamie is on the ultra softs. Sorry, on the hyper softs. He's going for a hyper soft stint. That's interesting.
Yeah, he seems to like the hypers.
He does,
seems to like
he?
the hypers, does Jamie. He's done good 15 laps on them. He'll do another 15 here. He might be going for an hyper ultra.
Is that feasible, do you think?
Perhaps.
I mean, 16, that'll take him up to 32. He'd have to do 19 laps, no, 32, 20, 32, 19 laps. Then on the ultra soft, so that is feasible. Yeah, definitely feasible. So we're looking at Jamie Culhane at this moment in time. We're pretty certain that he's gonna hyper soft, ultra soft run. So 2 pits for Jamie Culhane. I mean, obviously it's a fast run. Look at this though; he's right on the back here. Oh, Stappers overtakes him before they get down to turn 12. Late braking, good move there from Jamie Culhane.
Yeah, brilliant.
Stappers didn't really have any recourse there, did he?
Jamie's showing some real sort of confidence in his overtaking in this race. It's it's very similar to his last race, wasn't it? Singapore.
Yeah.
He had an absolutely phenomenal race. You know, as I said, I've raced with Jamie so many times, and I've never seen him race like this. And we're seeing that again here. Yeah, it seems to be completely
definitely
different.
brought the mojo from Singapore to Russia, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's really great stuff. Unfortunately, he's got that 5-second stop go, but I don't think he's letting it phase him at the moment. He's keeping the fire going.
Yeah, definitely. And he's 9 seconds down the road to Hans van der Berg. And van der Berg sticking in there though. He's in P7. I mean, he's still looking strong. He's on those ultra softs at this moment in time, but he's still looking strong. He could quite easily come through the field here.
Yeah, certainly. He showed some real sort of promise at the start of this race. Unfortunately, had that little altercation with Boy, which brought him into the pit perhaps a little bit early. But yeah, certainly not over for him. His strategy is not ruined by any means, and he's still got pace now. He's still going.
We're just riding on board with Marcel France. He's currently still on the same set of tyres on those ultra soft 16 laps. Not the oldest ones on the track. Guido Ershine is equally on 16-lap old ultra softs, but Marcel Dronig, Damie Hartman, and Seb Bogard are all on 17 old ultra softs. Those guys are going to have to be coming in relatively soon, one would have thought.
Well, I think Jamie will be hoping that those drivers from first to fourth, all on the ultras, he's going to be hoping that those can do 19 laps, because that is what Jamie's going to want to do. As Jamie actually gets the fastest lap of the race while I'm talking.
1:36.515.
Van der Berg's just got past France. I think France made a small error there. France is on very old ultras.
He is on 17-lap old there, but Hans van der Berg on the fresher ultras gets past him. He moves up into P6. He's now 3 seconds off the back of Nicky Visser. He's 1.2 seconds off the back of Ershine. So one would expect Visser to make that move on Ershine within the next couple of laps. And well, especially as Ershine's on 17 laps. I mean, Nicky's on much fresher set of ultra softs. Nicky Visser is going to be coming out pretty much a winner on here. I'd expect him to maybe move up to... it's going to be close, but he could well move up to P3, depending if he gets, effectively an undercut on Marcel Dronig.
Yeah, he will do. Yeah, he'll move up to about third place there. Not sure what Nicky's strategy is for the rest of this Grand Prix. I don't know what his sort of second phase is.
Not too sure.
He's got some
Could you be looking at a single stop, maybe going onto the softs? I mean, he hasn't done a single stop because he had to come in earlier, but, I'm thinking, is he going to go onto the softs?
That is feasible. It's worth noting, actually, about the soft tyre. All the drivers we've seen use it have not done exceptionally well in this first sort of third of the race.
No, they haven't.
I don't know if the other drivers will sort of pick up on that. I know it's difficult while you're actually racing. Jamie gets second consecutive fastest lap.
And Visser's really battling, and he gets ahead of Erskine.
Made the move.
So Nicky Visser does get ahead of Guido Erskine. Although Gershine is riding on his exhaust fumes at this moment in time. But he moves up to P4. Erskine is not
Visser
letting
should
it
pull
go.
away. He should pull away. Visser's got plenty of VRS.
So Nicky Visser now pulling away from Guido Erskine. And his next target is Marcel Dronig, but I'm sure he's going to be pitting before he even gets there. Now, this is really giving Nicky a great opportunity. He's definitely going to take that P3 position, and he's going to get pretty damn close to Damie Hartman as well. I think he's probably going to be, 3-4 seconds off the back of him.
Oh,
Damie's
got that 5 second stop go as well.
For Damie Hartman as he comes into the pits. So that's that pit glitch coming in. Oh, he's not going to be happy with that. Marcel Dronig is in as well, so Nicky Visser will be coming round. Now, the question is, who is going to come out? Seb Bogart should get out ahead of Nicky Visser. Damie Hartman should get out ahead of him as well. And Damie's gone on to the softs. Seb Bogart has gone on to the ultra softs. Okay, Nicky actually gets ahead of Damie Hartman.
Yeah, that's because of that penalty.
And Guido Erskine as well is behind him. Hans van der Berg and Damie Hartman. God, that is a slow. Yeah, that is about 25, 26 seconds. Did he serve that 5 second stop go immediately there, Damie Hartman? He must have done,
Yes, he did, yeah.
So Damie Hartman comes out in P5. He's now behind Hans van der Berg, who's on 8 lap old ultra softs. Ahead of him is Guido Erskine, who's desperately trying to get past. Can he make the move? We just saw Nicky Visser make the move. Took a little bit of time, but Van der Berg makes pretty short work of that. Gets past Erskine pretty convincingly there. So Hans van der Berg is now up to P3. Nicky Visser is in P2. And Seb Bogart, well, we haven't really spoken much about Seb Bogart so far this race. We're on lap 20.53. We're rapidly approaching, not too far off the halfway mark. Not an awful lot to say other than he's led from start to finish, really.
Yeah, who? Who's he? I've forgotten.
Who's this Bogart geezer thing?
Yeah, he's just, it's been, that's Humphrey. That's his cousin.
That's his granddad.
Yeah, no, I mean, Seb, it's kind of a typical Seb race, really.
It is really, isn't it?
Pole position, led start from to finish. Well, it hasn't finished yet, but led from start to where we are now. And while all the action's been going on behind him, he's just sort of been able to manage his own race. I mean, he did tell me at Azerbaijan this season, when he finished just 0.036 seconds ahead of Damie, that was one of the best races he'd ever had, and he much rather have those races every race than this type of race where he's comfortably in the lead. I think he's a sort of born racing driver. He relishes in the race itself, not just driving around leading.
Yeah, and
like a time trial.
Yeah, exactly. But great show from him. He is a previous multiple champion, and you can see the reason why. He knows how to control his car, control the pace. He did start P1, but that doesn't really mean too much at this moment in time. But he maintains that P1 position. Nicky Visser, well, he's up into second place. I think Nicky is going to be very happy with that. He's looking strong. He's on 5 lap old ultra soft. So, okay, he's going to have to probably pit before Bogart. But he's in a good position there. He's in a strong position, certainly, and he could well maintain it until the end. And he needs that podium finish, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. I think he'll certainly fight for it. And Jamie just got past Franza. Yes,
he has. Jamie Collane's moved up to P5 now.
Interrupting myself.
So he's got past Marcel France in the Red Bull. So Nicky Visser, as we said, he's in P2. He's 12 seconds down the road from Seb Bogart. Then we've got Hans van der Berg in P3, the Williams driver. Well, I mean, he had that run-in with Boy Williamson. He had to have a front or a nose change on there. Certainly affected his race. he is in P3, but he's on 10-lap-old ultra soft. He'll probably go, what, 20? Maybe a little bit more if he wants to push it. It depends what he's going to go for on the next stint. But still a strong position, isn't it? I mean, even when he pits, everyone else is going to have to pit as well.
Yeah, certainly. Well, everyone but Damie. But then,
Damie, yeah, that's true.
Doing,
yeah,
slower laps. Yeah, I mean, he's had an eventful race, hasn't he? Yeah, bearing in mind he has had to sort of change his wing. Yeah, I mean, this is certainly a podium for Van der Berg to lose. Potentially, it's his to lose. That's what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah, because he's only 5 seconds off the back of Visser. Okay, Hartmann is on the soft, so he will go ahead, and clearly Hartmann's going to be going to the end of this race on those softs. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out, but anything can happen. We saw that happen last week in Singapore, so anything can still happen. But Hans van der Berg, he's in that P3 position. Damie Hartmann, as we were saying, he's in P4. He did start P5, moved up. Obviously, the field was in P2. Never quite got that P1 position. He's got some penalties. He suffered that stop-go glitch, unfortunately, going into the pits, and that did not help him at all, did it?
No, absolutely not. It's it's kind of I wouldn't say it's killed his race, but it's given him.
It's made it a little bit harder. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, because he should be defending his third place against Hans at the moment. But unfortunately, he's just 5 seconds behind him.
So, Jamie Collane is up in 5th place. Sublime race, got to say, from the McLaren driver. He did very well in Singapore. Also, do you think Jamie Collane's found his feet now? He was struggling when he first came into the F1 Tonight League. He did join pretty much halfway through the season. Didn't really deliver too much on the races. I don't think, to be fair, he met your expectations of where he was going to be to start with, did he?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he had a bit of a baptism of fire. I don't know if you remember his first race was actually at Monaco.
Yes.
I think he survived about 9 laps or so. It wasn't spectacular by any means. But yeah, I think since then, I mean, he's had a sort of couple of other DNFs from then. But yeah, certainly in sort of from Singapore and indeed this race, he seems to have just really got his form back. Whether he just sort of prefers the races at the towards the end of the season to the rest of it, I don't know. But yeah, it's really, really good, really encouraging to see him doing so well.
Yeah, definitely. So Jamie Collane is in P5. Marcel France in P6. We haven't seen a huge amount from Marcel or indeed Red Bull this season, but this is a good show for them here at Sochi, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Bearing in mind he pitted in the end of lap 2, I think it was.
And to be fair, he's actually on 23-lap-old Ultrasoft, so he's going to lose that position very soon when he comes into pit.
Yeah, I didn't actually see the incident, but I presume it was a collision with his teammate Tawny. They started 13th and 14th.
Yeah, it was right at the start. It was very weird because it just went. The Red Bull just seemed to go veering off to the left and straight into the wall there.
I have to have a look back on the stream, see what did happen. But yeah, I mean he's in P6 at the moment. As I say, he will have to come in. I expect points finishes from Marcel, certainly.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, he's another one of those drivers who's, you could say he's a little bit out of position if he does finish just 10th. He's probably sort of a 7th or 8th placed driver, maybe higher than that.
Yeah, indeed. He's certainly a good driver, generally pretty much in that midfield. He's being basically chased down at the moment by Marcel Droning as they come round turn 11. He's got DRS on him, but can he make anything stick when they get down to 12? And it is a tricky corner, this, because high speed, you've really got to brake, change down those gears to get the optimum round that chicane of 13 and 14, haven't you?
Yeah, it's a great place to overtake as well, that DRS straight. I know I said earlier on it's not quite as long as some of the other DRS straights, but it's Marcel's in. I think Marcel's in.
So
France
is in. So Marcel Droning moves up now.
Then I don't know if you noticed that as France come in, he was very, very slow coming in the pit lane. He's obviously wary of that glitch, doesn't want it happening.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
whatever he did, it worked.
Yeah, it definitely did work. That now obviously puts Stappers into that P7 place. And yeah, he's pretty consistent, got to say. Stappers, he's always tends to be in that midfield, so he's going to be happy, reasonably happy with that. He had a good start, a good qualifying, but yeah, it's always a solid race. He always puts in a solid race, and he's always there at the end.
Yeah. I mean, I do like Stappers. I like his drive style, the way he manages his tyres. He's a sort of a complete driver. As you often say, he races with no assists and in cockpit view, so he's thoroughly sort of authentic. But yeah, always a midfield driver. I think he might, he's one of those guys who, I think he's got the potential to win races, but I don't know if he thinks he has. I think that might be what's stopping him.
Yeah, it could well be that little bit of self-confidence. Sorry, I'm just going to quickly switch here to Jamie Collane, because he's now, 4/10 off the back of Damie Hartman as they're coming up to the first DRS. Damie Hartman is pulling away. He's got up 6/10, but Hans van der Berg, 3-second time penalty there. He's not going to be too happy with that, but
it's a penalty for Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie picks up one as well, round turn 2.
One.
So coming round turn 3 now, but he is definitely zoning in on the back of that Ferrari, isn't he?
Yeah, we've seen that. We've seen it coming for a long time, really. He was sort of 6 seconds behind about 4 laps ago.
Damie Hartman picks up a 3-second time penalty there for corner cutting.
That evens the score.
Now this is where it's going to count. Surely James is going to make the move once they get around this turns 8, 9 and into 10. That right-hander, they again got the DRS. Jamie's got DRS. Loads
of ERS as well, and also Jamie's actually running 2.7 wing, which is quite a low downforce setup. He's told me he's done that specifically for these straights.
Oh, but look at this, Damie Hartman doesn't give him the opportunity, defends very well. Jamie's having to fight round that chicane there, and he gets the move done before they get into 15, round 16, but great fighting there, and good driving from both drivers there.
Yeah, Damie wasn't going to give it up easy, was he? And you absolutely would not expect him to, a driver of that caliber. And Jamie's done exceptionally well to get past him. I know he's on the hypersoft tyres and Damie's on the soft. But having said that, Damie has a number of wins to his name, and Jamie's quite a new driver. Well, he's the newest driver to this league.
Yeah, definitely. So good run there so far. Damie Hartman now down to 5th. Marcel Dronig is in 6th place. Mark Stappers, as we said, is in 7th. John Donkel, he has moved up. He is in P8. But it's slow progress, isn't it, here? He's on 23-lap old Ultrasoft. He's going to have to be coming in soon. What's he going to go for? I mean, surely, is he going to look to try and stretch this out a bit more and go for another Ultrasoft run?
I think John will want to do one more lap. If he can do one more lap on these ultras, that means he's done 24. That will give him 24 laps remaining, which means he can do the ultras again.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how that one pans out, so we'll keep an eye on that. That does mean now that Guido Airshine is into P9. So he has now split effectively the Renaults. So he has got Baz de Breen on the back of him, and only 8/10. So one would expect, especially de Breen, these guys. Interestingly enough, I think they're going to be teammates for season 6, aren't they?
Who's that? Sorry.
De Breen and Airshine.
Breen. Yes, I think so. I haven't studied the
Yeah, they are.
So
de Breen is looking to try and make the move, but Airshine is not making it easy. He is really pushing hard, Airshine. Well, I might say, actually, I think he's pushing maybe a little bit too hard. Mr. Breedy's on 25
possibly.
lap old soft, so he's going to have to be coming in. He hasn't come in from the start of this race, remember. He did start out of position, and I'm just wondering what he's going to do. You see, 25 laps, he's going to have to come in, isn't he? I mean, surely Erskine, you know, as long as he keeps him in close proximity, he doesn't really have to worry too much about him getting past him.
No, perhaps not. He will be getting past him now, though.
Yeah.
It's quite an easy move, I think.
Oh, Ershine's going to be fighting back, though. Look at that. Tucks in just behind the Renault there. But now he's got to stay with him, hasn't he? This is the thing. Erskine, it's okay letting him pass, but he's got to stay with him to make it count.
Yeah. That's easier said than done, bearing in mind the difference in the ERS. Now I'll talk about that quite a lot, but it's similar to where we saw Nicky overtake Hans Vandenberg once he was passed.
He picks up a 3-second time penalty there as well. So, yeah, not going his way. Marcel France, the Red Bull driver we referred to earlier, he's dropped back down to P11 after that pit stop. Martin Pardercooper bringing up the rear in P12. He's not going to be happy, is he? Let's be honest.
No, no, he's not. I don't think he's been happy for a little while. You know, we saw it at Singapore. He was actually doing very well at Singapore until I think did he crash out?
Yeah.
Trying to think back to that race.
Yes.
Yeah, and we said, you know, I hope he's, you know, this is the race that sort of turns his form around.
And it was going so well. It really was going to be, wasn't it? And then he just suffers that. He was out. You know, it's racing, I guess, but he needs to come back from this. He's gone for the softs, obviously, to try and push him up, but it just hasn't worked for him, has it? He's in that last place. He's now having to pit. What's he going to do?
Yeah. Is he coming in now?
No, it looked like he was thinking about it, though.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Not on he's definitely going to come in on the next one.
I mean, he's definitely within the, you know, he's in the ultra soft window, certainly. They'll comfortably do this you know, this race distance. As we've seen, John Donkel's done 25 laps now on them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the sooner he gets off these softs, the better it'll be for him.
Well, I think let's have a look now back at that field and just let's go back to our race leader, Seb Bogart. Yeah, he's pretty happy. He's not got the interval that he wants though. He's got 16 seconds to him, Nicky Visser, and there's not a great deal of difference with regards to the tyres. I mean, Seb is obviously on the fresher set, 10 lap old. Visser is on 14 lap old, but you know, it's still close, isn't it? I don't think he hasn't got the gap that he would ideally want, Bogart, not at this moment in time. And we are over halfway through. We're on lap 30, 53, 23 laps remaining. It could be tricky for him.
Yeah, it could be. As you say, it's not quite the gap that he wanted. I don't know if he expected the driver in second to be Nicky, and I think Nicky didn't really expect himself to be in P2.
That's a fair comment
at the moment. But the fact of the matter is that Nicky is in P2, and he's actually matching Bogart's lap times, like exactly 36.8 for both of them. They're the two fastest drivers on the track at the moment.
Indeed, and they are matching, you say, but 15 seconds is that gap. Pit stop, I'm pretty sure, is around about 24 seconds. So that said, you know, there's 9-second gap there. This could be interesting, and especially, you know, what if Seb Bogart comes in and picks up that glitch and gets a 5-second stop go?
Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, we've seen it. I think we've seen it twice so far. I mean, once for Damien, once for Jamie. Damien, Jamie.
You're a poet and you didn't know it.
If we had an Amy in here, she'd probably get a penalty as well.
Indeed, yes. Yeah. Yeah, Jamie and Damien and Amy. Yeah, that would be interesting. And by the way, actually, while we're talking about drivers, obviously at this moment in time, the F1 Tonight Dutch league, I can say the Premier League, because they are the first, obviously. They are driver short, so if you're interested in driving, do give them a shout if you're based in Holland. Belgium's, I think, just apply, really. Danish, well, you're all the same. Germans, I'm not too sure. It depends on your ancestry. But anyway, give them a shout, see what you think, see what they can say. But interestingly enough, we've got a UK league starting as well, haven't we, Adrian?
We have, yeah. It's already it's filling up pretty quickly. Lots of drivers from the league I used to race in and still commentate on with yourself.
Indeed,
Synergy PWR, of course. But there's interest from other places as well. Sort of independent drivers just approaching the league, wanting to join. So certainly, if anyone does want to, if anyone does fancy, it's got to be UK based. It's got to be over the age of 20.
Yes, we've established that one, haven't we?
Yes, that was a big debate about that, but yeah, those are the rules. They're not changing.
Those is the rules, as they say. So we're sticking effectively with that one. I just want to give a quick shout out. I don't know if he's going to be watching, to Pete, and I hope I pronounced this right, Potipko. He's actually based in Canada, and I sent him a little link during the week. He was showing off his setup on one of the Facebook F1 chat groups, and great setup he's got there in Canada, looking for people to race with and race against. So I sort of pointed him in the direction. Who knows, we might be looking at maybe somebody future starting F1 Tonight Canada. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
That would be, yeah. It would be. Yeah. Who knows? Could be a sort of a global domination.
You never know. You never know.
And we'd be commentating on all of them.
Great oaks grow, as you know. So we'll see how that goes. So shout out to Pete if he is watching. I hope he is. And if you are, Pete, then do tell your friends, colleagues, and other F1 fans there in Canada. We promise we won't hold Montreal against you. So Nicky Visser is in second place. Hans van der Berg, the new daddy last week. And I've got to say, I was very impressed. He raced last week at Singapore, only 2 days after his child was born. Although, to be fair, he wasn't the one that actually bore it, but there you go. That's dedication. And that dedication seems to be paying off here at Sochi.
It's doing well for him, isn't it? Currently P3, but I mean, fair play to the man. Racing with F1 Tonight, as you say, just 2 days after the birth of his child. That's that is true dedication.
I'm sure his wife would have something else to say about it, but then again, she was probably still in the hospital and didn't really have much choice. So who knows? Hans, if you know, let us know. We'd be interested. So Hans van der Berg is in P3. He's realistically though, he's not going to hold on to it for too long. He's on 21 lap old ultra softs, and he's got Damie Hartman just behind him on those softs, and he's clearly going to the end of this race on those softs, isn't he? So he will take that P3 place back. There is 12-second gap at the moment between them. What is going to happen though? Because ultimately, as I say, he's on soft. What's Van der Berg's call going to be to try and get past Damie Hartman? Because that's his target, isn't it? Damie Hartman.
Yeah, certainly. I think, where are we now? We've got 19 laps to go. I think Hans can do a few more laps on these. We've seen drivers. Look at John Zonko. He's done 29 laps on the ultra soft.
Yeah.
Hans can do maybe 3 or 4 more laps on these. He can get himself comfortably within the hypersoft window for a final stint. As we saw earlier on the hypersoft, it's about 1.5 seconds or so faster than the soft. As long as he's no more than say 10 seconds behind Damie after the pit stops, he should be able to give himself a chance to overtake.
Well, he's got to go on to, and look at this. Sorry, Jamie Collane setting the provisional fastest lap, 1:35.1. So he is charging through. So yeah, I think you're right. I think Hansy's going to go onto those hypersofts to close this race. He needs to get past Damie Hartman, who will be ahead of him. Marcel Dronig will be ahead of him as well once he pits. Marcel Dronig is on 14-lap ultra softs. What we got? We've got 20 laps remaining. He can't go to the end, so he's going to have to pit. Mark Stappers, he's on 22-lap old ultra soft, so he's definitely going to have to pit. So yeah, that main target for Hans van der Berg is definitely going to be Damie Hartman, because van der Berg will come out in fourth when he does pit, barring any incident between now and then. Now, interestingly, John Donkel, quickly change. I was just about to say, but I just noticed John Donkel, 30 laps old on those ultra softs.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's gaining actually from pushing these tyres quite so long. I mean, his lap time.
It's giving Jamie Collane a great opportunity to close down on the back of him, though.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this.
Yeah, the longer he stays out, the more opportunity Jamie will have making the pass.
Oh, Jamie Collane's on a fresh set of ultra softs, 2 laps old. Surely Donker's got to come in now. There's little point in staying out, I feel. I mean, he can feel comfortable on them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're fast. I know we spoke to John before about how deep he can go on tyres, and I think there is a difference here that you need to take into account. You can feel comfortable on a set of tyres, they can be going well, but that doesn't mean necessarily that you're going at the pace you should be, or do you see where I'm getting with that? Does that make sense?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm just looking at the lap times. Actually, his times are falling off quite a lot compared to what they were when he was first using the Ultrasoft tyre. He's losing about a second on his pace when the tyres were new. Jamie looks like he's going to make the move very soon.
They're round.
He's eyeing it up. He's in mode 0 on the ERS. He's playing it very.
They're just
smart.
coming around 8 and 9 now. He's coming up to turn 10. This is the DRS detection. There you go. That white line there. Coming around 10, and then we'll have the activation.
John's unfortunately doing the typical John Donkel style of sticking it in mode 5 for the whole lap, and he's got absolutely nothing in the ERS at all, so can't defend like that.
So Jamie Collane makes the move quite easily past John Donkel now. Surely John's going to have to pit. But Baz de Breen, I mean, we've seen Baz before in previous races. He's been at the back of the field, and he's just been slowly crunching away, eating through, getting those pit stops in, and suddenly he appears in the top 3. It's not happening here, though, at Sochi, is it? It isn't going to happen either. He's way behind, 22 seconds behind Marcel France, 33-lap-old softs. He's not going to get any further unless something major incident happens on the track ahead of him.
He'd love a safety car right now, I think, Baz. Yeah, I mean, failing anything like that, it's not a great race for him. I think it's probably one of his, dare I say, his worst.
I was literally going to say that. This has got to be his worst race, surely. Other than DNF,
I don't remember him finishing. Yeah, any race that he's finished, I don't think he's ever actually finished outside the top 6 before.
Yeah. So not a good day for Renault today at Sochi. Guido Airshine, just out the points on P11. He is 2 seconds off the back of Baz de Breen, and he is on a fresh set of Ultrasoft, so he should get ahead of him. Question is, though, he can go to the end on these Ultrasoft. So really, Baz de Breen he's going to drop down. Even further. Yeah, he has. Guido Airshine gets past him, and I don't think de Breen's going to have a response. I don't think he's got a response.
No, not really, no. I mean, Guido's just got past Baz because Baz was, both drivers were being waved blue flags because Nicky Visser was passing him. Baz went to let Visser pass, and didn't see Guido sneak in there as well with the overtake.
Wow, good move there from Erskine. Certainly, his valuable point. He certainly needs, albeit only 1 point at this moment in time. But he's going to take that. I'm sure he will take that with both arms, I should think.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then Martin Pardig, who we say, well, I'm not going to dwell too much on that. Not a great race for him. He's down in 12th place. Okay, so we are on lap 37 of 53, 16 laps remaining. This is F1 Tonight, the only full race distance league on sim racing. This is the Dutch League. I'll start to refer to it as the Dutch League, and I will call it the Premier League, because I think that's a fair shout, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, I'll run with that, yeah.
That's fine. The Premier League, certainly the instigators. We are saying that because we are looking at another league starting for F1 Tonight. For those of you that are familiar, that'll be F1 Tonight UK. And as we love abbreviations in the UK, that will be formerly known as FOTUC. So please...
Careful how you say that one.
Yeah, please take care in the pronunciation of that. That is FOTUC, Foxtrot, Oscar, Tango, Uniform, Kilo. And for those of you that don't know your phonetic alphabet, learn it.
Yes, Dad.
Yeah, learn it. I want your times tables done as well. No messing.
Hans Vanderberg has just come in for his pit stop. By the way, he's come out P5 ahead
surprise,
of Jamie Klein.
He's on the Ultrasofts.
He's on the Hypers.
Sorry, Hypersoft. Sorry, not the Ultrasoft. Sorry, I was looking at that. Yeah, he's on the Hypersofts. That is what we estimated that he would be on. He's now got, okay, so he does have Marcel Droning ahead of him, but we know that Marcel Droning is going to have to pit. But I guess you'd say it is important that he gets the move done on and on track, actually, isn't it? Because he hasn't got time to waste. He's only got 14 laps to get up to Damie Hartman, and he's almost 30 seconds. Well, he is over 30 seconds ahead of him.
Yeah.
Not 30 seconds.
Yeah,
sorry,
right, yeah.
Sorry, I tell a lie. Sorry, he's 9 seconds ahead of him because he's 3 seconds behind, and then Marcel Droning is 5 seconds to him. So he's about 9 to 10 seconds behind. I was looking at that 24 with Damie Hartman. Damie Hartman's 24 seconds off Visser. That's the one. That's it.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I dare say, I don't think Droning will be coming in again. He'll be trying to squeeze these out to the end. They'll have to do 31 laps. I think so, because otherwise, if he's planning on coming in, why doesn't he come in now?
He's got 14 laps to go. I mean, that will take him what, to sort of 32, 33 laps?
That's fine. Yeah. Well,
okay.
If he doesn't want to, if he doesn't want to push tyres that hard, then come in now because he's within the window. There's no point.
Yeah,
there's no point
true.
Doing.
And the thing is, he's got to take into account. He's going to have Hans Vanderberg bearing down on him, and he's going to have to fight, and that's going to take the wear out of those tyres even more.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of options. He could pit now for the Hypers. He could try and squeeze it to the end. But he'll lose so much time as the tyres wear out, as we saw with John.
So
either way, I think Hans is getting past.
Yeah, I've got to say, I mean, Marcel Droning, as we were discussing, he's in P4 at the moment. He's on 19 lap old Ultrasoft. Adrian's pretty much of the opinion that he's going to be looking to take these to the end, but they're going to be falling off. He's got Hans Vanderberg now under 3 seconds behind him on a fresh set of Hypersofts. It's not going to be easy. It definitely isn't going to be easy.
No, it's not. This is in the pit, by the way, from P2. Okay, certainly going on to the Hypersofts. I imagine Bogart's coming in. Imagine Bogart coming in as well then.
Well, he's on 20 lap old Ultrasofts though, and we're saying that these Ultrasofts can go deeper. Do you think Seb Bogart's going to bother to respond?
Yeah, he might do just for safety. I mean, if he is going to pit, he will pit now rather than doing it, 3 laps before the end.
Well, Seb Bogart. Baz de Breen does the fastest lap, 118.8. 118.8?
118? Yeah,
118? I was about to say, that's impossible.
Oh, his middle sector, check this one out. His middle sector, he did that in 2.6 seconds.
Yeah, that's definitely a glitch. unless he's fitted nitrous oxide and wings to that car, I can't see how he would do that, to be brutally honest.
I wish I'd seen that lap.
I wish I'd seen that lap as well. That's a hell of a glitch. God, 2 seconds in sector 2. That's brilliant. So
yeah, 2.642 to be specific.
Now, okay, yeah, I can see what you're saying. Seb Bogart's got a full 46 seconds now on Nicky Visser. But the thing is, Visser now has put himself in a bit of a danger zone because he's got Damie Hartman only, under a second behind him. Oh, sorry, I've got to keep changing these graphics. Damie Hartman is only a second behind him. Okay, he is on softs and Nicky is on a fresh set of hypersofts, but, he could make a mistake.
He could do. Yeah, he could do. I mean, there's still 12, 13 laps to go to the end of this race. Yeah, I think as long as he keeps trying to put the pressure on, it increases the chance, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's Damie's hands now, because Damie, although he's on those soft tyres, he does really need to start putting pressure on that Mercedes to make him get a mistake. But he's got to get close to start off with, and fresh set of hypersofts could be tricky. But I think the Ferrari has got that speed, but it is straight line speed. He's going to have to really work those corners and really lay down the power in those straights. He's got no DRS.
Yeah, Dronig is in, by the way. He wasn't planning to on stretching those tyres.
So Dronig has come in. That has, in that case, then released Jamie Collane up into 5th place. Hans van der Berg is now in 4th place. He is on those fresher set of hypersofts. He now really needs to bear down on Damie Hartman. Now, this is a very, very interesting scenario here, because we've got Hans van der Berg, who needs to make that move on track to get onto the podium, get past Damie Hartman. Then you've got Damie Hartman, who needs to stay within hissing distance of Nicky Visser, but that gap's already opened up, hasn't it? I mean, look at that. It's already up to 3.5 seconds. So clearly, Damie can't keep that pace to Nicky Visser, can he?
No, he won't. No, I don't think he'll be able to. Yeah, I mean, Nicky's on shiny, fresh hypersofts. Damie's on relatively old softs. Just check. Well, I can't check the lap times at the moment because Nicky's only just come out of the pit.
But Van der Berg,
yeah, imagine him to be falling off a second lap.
3.4 seconds down. I mean, he's probably taking out maybe 4/10, 5/10, between 4/10 and 6/10, let's say, of Damie Hartman. On that basis, he's going to be on the back of him probably around about lap 47.
I think it's going to be a bit sooner than that. He was 2.1 seconds faster than Damie on the previous lap.
2.1? Oh my God, I didn't realise it was that big a gap. Wow. Now that is massive. I mean, on that basis, he's going to be on him probably lap 43, the same place. He's probably going to catch up with him around about, well, probably as they come into sector 3, actually.
Yeah, more than likely, and that gives him plenty of time to, pace himself and prepare himself for the overtake. Doesn't have to do it, in such a rush.
Well,
Damie Hartman feeling the pressure. He's got a 3-second penalty.
He has, and I've got to say, I think Hans van der Berg, now is the time. This is important. I think he needs to maybe ease off because his ERS isn't where it could be. He needs to get on the back of that Ferrari and then maybe ease off to build up and go for an attack to make it stick. Because at this moment in time, yes, he could get past him, but he needs to make it stick.
Yeah. I mean, we have seen some good overtakes from Hans sort of earlier on in this race. I'm not going to dwell on the incident with Boy, but I mean the racing prior to that, was top notch.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I think that was just, it was what it was. They were driving so closely. I think it was just a bit of contact. It was unfortunate that it happened on that and the result, but there you go. Such is racing. But indeed, I mean, he's now 1.4 seconds off the back of Damie Hartman, and he's definitely zoning in Now that's going to be a great result for him, because I mean we've got 10 laps remaining. God, where's the time gone? We've got 10 laps remaining of this race. We're on lap 43 of 53. We're currently riding on board with Hans van der Berg in the Williams. He is really looking up for a good chance here of getting onto the podium at the cost of Damie Hartman in the Ferrari. And yeah, it really will be at the cost of Damie Hartman, because Damie really needs those points, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Needs to, needs to kind of mitigate the damage that Seb is just doing to the gap between them now in the championship. As I said earlier on, when Damie was in P2, I think Damie would have been very happy with P2, and yeah, I think he would be even happier with it now, bearing in mind he's got Hans right behind him, and I think even Jamie Collane may be in with a shout of a possible move in the last couple of laps of this race.
Well, yeah, because Jamie Collane is on the outside. He's not going to catch up, though, to Van der Berg, but what you're saying is he could make the move on Hartman before the end of the race and push him down to, well, 5th place.
Yeah, it could well do. Jamie just goes wide down the last corner.
Looking to make the move into turn 1.
Around the outside.
Oh, and he does, only just, but that was tight, but a good move there from Van der Berg, and he does take that P3 place from Damie Hartman. What can Damie Hartman do? How can he respond? Is there anything he can do? And to be brutally honest, I think the answer is no. There is nothing he can do.
No, not really. Not at this late stage. Not with those tyres. Yeah, just got to hold on to this P4 and be prepared to defend later on in this. In the very final stages of this race.
It'd be interesting to see what the comparison is here between Van der Berg and Visser. We have got 9 laps remaining and 9 seconds separating these guys. I doubt it's going to be too much of a gap, but I would love for you to tell me that Van der Berg's taking a second a lap out of Visser right now, Adrian.
I'd love to be able to tell you that, but I'd be lying to you, Eddie.
Yeah, I thought you might
Visser
be.
Visser's still 6/10 faster than the drivers behind him.
So Nicky Visser looking solid in that P2 position. He is going to be happy with that. And as you quite rightly said, Bogart did respond. He did come in and go on to set hypersource, but then again, he had the window to do that. Interestingly enough, 46 seconds was the gap when I last looked between them. 16 seconds now, so yeah, that pit stop is definitely a long one, probably more than 24 seconds actually.
Yeah, I'm wondering actually if Bogart got that pit pitch thing. We didn't see it. No, he didn't get it. He didn't get it. It just
he didn't get it.
Why it seemed to have lost 30 seconds.
Seems to have lost quite a bit of time there, but yeah, 30 seconds. Yeah, not too sure what's happened on there. But Nicky Visser is in that second place, as we said there. Hans van der Berg is now into 3rd place, so he will have a podium finish. And Damie Hartman, well, he's down in P4. But more importantly, Jamie Collane, now he is in P5. He's 7 seconds off the back of Damie. There are 8 laps remaining. Adrian, you're the man with the facts and the figures. You know what I'm going to ask you.
Well, he's gaining 1.1 per lap.
So 1.1 per lap. That would suggest that he's probably going to be, yes, this is going to be tight. This is going to be very, very tight indeed, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just going to have a look at the penalties actually for those 2 drivers.
I think you'll find
hopefully
they're pretty
they
much
won't
on a
come
level
into play.
par.
Yeah, I hope so. It's 3 for Damie. It's 9 seconds, and it is 3 for Jamie.
Yeah, I thought
seconds.
they were on level par. So yeah, both their cumulative points actually cancel each other out. Mark Stappers gets a 3-second time penalty. Oh dear, he's not going to be happy with that. But still, he's in that P7 place, so that's gives him a reasonable bit of happiness.
Oh, John Dawkins just gone into the back of Stappers.
Oh
just
my
before
goodness!
The last corner, it's damage on the Renault.
So John Donkel trying to take that P7 place from Stappers as they were coming round the end of sector 3 on the previous lap. Makes contact with Stappers, gets damage to his front wing. But look at this, he is coming round 3. He is on the dirty side. This is what I was saying to you. Didn't want to stay there though. Quickly got on the inside there, didn't he?
He's missing part of his car, so he's not really able to maximise his speed around that bend. Downforce is so important on this track, and
yes, look at
losing
that.
part of your wing.
He's lost the front left of his front wing there. Certainly lost the wing. I think he's actually lost the. He's still got the main
end
board,
plate.
but he has lost all the end plate and winglets off there, and that is definitely going to be affecting his downforce into those corners.
Yeah, it will do. Yeah, big time. This is one of the worst tracks for wing damage.
Guido Ershine picking up the 3-second time penalty as well. Currently in P10. Doesn't really need to push, to be fair. He's got a good gap around him. He's got 17 seconds to Parda Cooper, and he's only 6 seconds off the back of France. So 6 laps are now remaining. Let's have a quick look at the field, and let's start in reverse order. And this is, well, I've got to say, sad to say, but unfortunately it is a reality. Baz de Breen is at the back of the pack. He's in P12 and he's out of the points.
Yeah, as I said, I don't know. I've ever seen him finish. I've certainly never seen him finish outside the points. P12. Yeah, it's a shame. Not a good day for Renault. John Donkel in the pit now as well, actually, to replace his front wing.
So John Donkel comes into the pits. That means that he is going to be. He'd probably still come out in P8 because he's got quite a gap between him and Marcel France. So Baz de Breen, he's in P12. Martin Parda Cooper is in P11. He'll be glad of small mercies, at least finishing ahead of the Renault of Baz de Breen. Not that it means a lot because neither one of them is going to get any points at this moment. Oh, and Parda Cooper is coming into the pits. So Parda Cooper's into the pits. Is he going to go to try and go for a final sort of push, do you think? Yeah, he is. He wants to make sure he stays ahead of de Breen, I would suggest. Guido Ershine is... John Donkel. Sorry, because he's coming to the pits. He's now in P10. So John Donkel in P10. He's just in the points. He is on the back of Guido Ershine, who I was just referring to. So he is now in P9, but he is going to be under pressure, and I'm sure Donkel's going to make the move on him, isn't he? He's going to move up.
Yes, yeah, I'd have thought so. Yeah, this is Donkel. Hopefully back on form at the last few laps of this race. He's on the fresh tyres. Guido is pretty quick though on those ultras. His last few laps are decent.
We'll see how that pans out. Marcel France in the Red Bull we're riding on board with at this moment in time. He is in P8. Then we have Mark Stappers in the Sauber. He's in P7. And, good solid race as always from Stappers. Then we have Marcel.
Yeah, it seems to be his. It seems to be his favourite position, doesn't it? Finishing P7.
He's always around about that midfield, isn't he? Always around about that midfield, but again, always picking up points. This is the important thing about it.
Donkel's going for the pass on Guido, and he's made it. It's a little bit messy. Bounced off the wall a little bit. I don't think it's damage, but he's done it.
So
and there's Marcel France just ahead of him as well.
He has. So John Donkel is clearly on a charge here. He's going to try and see if he can get recoup as much as he can. He just picked up a 3-second time penalty, so that could cost him actually. He is riding on the gearbox at this moment in time of Marcel France. And he really is riding on the gearbox of him.
Yeah, he's got the pace himself for that ERS though. He saved it all up, but he's just keeping it in mode 4 as he sits behind. He does not want to do that because it means he won't have it when he needs to use it. Oh, Parda Cooper's retired.
DRS and Parda Cooper is out. Sorry, Parda Cooper has gone out. I think he's actually gone out on track. Let's go with de Breen now. As he comes around the final 2 turns. Not too sure where Pardicu's gone. I think he's probably gone out actually. I've got a sneaky suspicion it'll be turn 1, turn 2. So, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
No, it's green, so
So
it has been cleared. Yeah, it has been cleared. So, sorry, you were going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, I know you were going up the sort of running order, weren't you?
Yeah,
so about Mark Staffers.
Yeah, well, we were with Mark Staffers, as we were saying. He's always in that midfield. We're now on board Marcel Droney. He's in P6, so again, good solid save from Droney. And again, he's always there, isn't he? Picking up the points, and that's what's helped Haas out during the course of this season.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. This is what makes him a good wingman, good second driver for Haas, and this is what is helping them lead. Retake the lead of the Constructors' Championship.
Indeed, they certainly need it. And now let's go, Jamie Culhane. What a sublime race from Culhane. He did so well in Singapore. He's repeating it here in Sochi. P5. He's going to be happy with that. I would be.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamie Culhane, he's had a blinding race. It's he's shown some real pace, good promise there for possibly future podiums, future wins. Even he's still only 4 seconds off of Damie. The rate at which he's catching him is coming down, but there's still 3.5 laps of this race left.
Indeed, 3.5 laps are remaining. So let's see what happens with regards to that. Damie Hartman, he is in P4 at this moment in time. He's got Jamie Culhane 3.5 seconds off the back of him, 2 laps remaining. I think he has done enough to maintain that P4, but anything could happen in the closing stages of this race. Then we have Hans van der Berg in the Williams, and he's into P3. And let's just quickly remind ourselves where these guys actually started. So Van der Berg did start in P4, so he's up 1, so good show from him. And Nicky Visser, let's just turn that off there. So Nicky Visser, he is in P2. Happy Nicky indeed. Just looking a little bit twitchy on some of those corners though. It does worry me a bit. But he's there in P2. He's moved up 6 places from P8. So, great show from him. And then obviously our race leader, Seb Bogart, I don't think anybody can touch him. He's led from start to finish. Sublime race and very well controlled, kept a good pace, maintained the distance, responded to other drivers just in case, as you rightly said he would do. Came in, went onto those hypersofts, responding to Nicky Visser, had the window to do that. And led start to finish. He's just sealing the deal on this championship at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean, he very rarely makes mistakes, doesn't he? I know we saw him make a little one in Q2.
Q2, yeah. He basically dive bombed turn 13, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, dive bombing an invisible car.
Yeah, it was. It was a bit bizarre. That
it
was a bit bizarre.
But yeah, I mean, he was obviously getting his mistakes out of the way early. Come race day, he's always on it. Always on it, and he deserves to win the races that he does. He's a great driver.
Yeah, he is. It has to be said. But it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out now, because Damien has got much more of a fight on his hands. And that being said, Jamie Culhane is now 2.6 seconds off the back. We can see that Ferrari down the road, but can he do anything about it? Well, it's going to take a mistake from from Damie Hartman for Jamie Culhane to take advantage, isn't it?
Yeah. I think Damie sensed him approaching. I think he just made that bit extra effort to improve his own lap times, so that Jamie would not have the opportunity on the final lap to sort of get within DRS range. Good defending by Jamie. He's sort of anticipated that.
Yeah, indeed, it has been good defending there from the Ferrari driver to maintain that place, because it looked as if Jamie Culhane was definitely going to close the gap to him. But we are now on the penultimate lap. Seb Bogart coming round now to start his final lap, and I think it's only right that we go on board with him now for this final lap. And main commentator's curse is probably going to crash into the wall or something, but yeah, that'll be a turn up for the books. So let's have a look through here. Seb Bogart was on pole, led start to finish. Nicky Visser did start in P8, actually, looking at this, didn't he? So, good show there from Visser.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Visser is definitely a contender for driver of the day. Yeah, definitely, 100%. But personally, I'm gonna have to, and this is no bias because we're both part of the same league, but I'm 100% confident in Jamie Collane deserved of driver of the day in this race.
Well, I've got to say, looking at this board here, I mean, let's not forget, he started in 16th place. He did start at the back of the grid. He's got up to P5, 11 places. Yeah, okay, we have effectively, well, had 5 drivers DNF, but that said, that doesn't make up that difference. So he has raced a sublime race, and I'm going to have to agree with you on that. But as I said, we are on board at the moment with Seb Bogart. He's coming round the penultimate turn now to take the win here at Sochi. Another win for Seb Bogart and for Haas. 25 points. That'll put him on 236 championship points. So great result there from him. Nicky Visser, he comes round now, and he will be taking second place. Nicky Visser takes second.
He'll be really
for
happy with that.
Mercedes, and I'm sure he is going to be very, very happy with that. Great race from him. Let's go to the Williams now. Hans van der Berg, as he comes round, across the line, finishes third. Damie Hartman comes round now, and we are obviously not taking into account points. He'll be fourth. Jamie Collane comes round, takes fifth. Marcel Dronig getting on to the final, or the penultimate rather, turn now. As he comes round, he will be taking sixth place. Great race there from the Haas driver. Mark Stappers now coming around the final turns. So Mark Stappers will be picking up P7. And there you have it. We'll run through the final positions. But yeah, I've got to say, we'll go through the final positions, and then we'll come on to driver of the day. But I think we're pretty much in agreement on that one. So there you have it. Seb Bogart takes the win for Haas, seals the deal on this championship. 236 points. Damie Hartman picks up 12 points. But, well, what can I say? That only puts him on 209. He's still within the race, isn't he? All it takes is Seb Bogart to be out. He can still get that championship back. Second place goes deservedly to Nicky Visser, and Hans van der Berg in the Williams takes third place. So great result there for those drivers. Fourth, as we said, Damie Hartman for Ferrari picks up 12 points. Jamie Collane for McLaren picks up 10 points. So Jamie's basically added another third of points onto his count, so he's going to be happy with that. Puts him on 29 points. Marcel Dronig for Haas finishes 6th. He picks up 8 points. Mark Stappers for Sauber picks up 6 points. Baz de Breen for Renault picks up 4 points. John Donkel picks up 2, so only 6 points there for Renault. Guido Airshine for Force India picks up the final point. Marcel France for Red Bull finishes P11, and Martin Parder Cooper, as we know, obviously, I think he did. Did he DNF? He didn't. Yeah, he did. Yeah, but he finishes in 12th. Boy Williamson 13, 14. Marco Pullen 15 is Sander Hermans, 16. Miguel Tony. I've got to say, the man that could have been Sander Hermans. Great shame he went out, but he was a good race from him. Got to say.
Yeah, Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's a shame he went out. He was showing massive pace, wasn't he, in Q2? He's only sort of a blink of an eye behind Seb. Yeah, it was. He was looking like he was going to get some good points there.
Indeed.
I don't know if there's something that actually happened with this these race results, because Baz has been promoted from last to 8th. He was some distance behind.
Penalty
I remember.
points.
Yeah, but they didn't have that many.
Well,
and everyone had penalties.
We'll have to review that. I must admit, it did make me a bit surprised when I saw that, but we'll see what happens. But oh dear, bad cons. Looking at here, yeah, there's definitely connection issues without any doubt. I wonder if that was a false position that we saw there for Baz de Bruyne.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think it was a false position.
To review.
I don't think he was bringing up the rear. We have had this glitch before, but anyway, great race. Driver of the day, definitely Jamie Collane then, Adrian.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was exciting to watch him. I spent most of the race actually riding on board with him. There's plenty of overtakes from him. I think it was I counted about 12 overtakes during that race just from him. Well, we saw.
By lap 12,
he went up
12
places,
places.
Didn't he?
12 places by lap 12.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I think I think 5 or 6 of his overtakes were during that period, and then just as the race went on, I think he overtook Stappers 3 times.
Well, I don't think Stappers is going to be too happy with that. But fantastic race as always. Great. Well, I mean, a few turn up for the books. Renault, nowhere to be seen. Renault, where were they? They weren't there. They just simply weren't there. Irrespective of whether Baz de Bruyne did finish 8th or not, that's still a pretty poor showing from Renault. 6 points. They've now given Haas the opportunity to actually, I think, overtake them in the constructors.
Yes, yeah, I think just from my calculations, they had something like 13 or 15 points ahead now of Renault. Yeah, I mean, you'd expect Renault, leading the constructors all this time, expecting to put in some sort of performance in that race, but no, it just wasn't to be. Yeah. Hopefully they'll bounce back in Japan.
Indeed, we'll see what happens next week. We are in Japan. Damie Hartman, though, he's going to have to really bring the fight to Haas, and indeed to Renault as well, but certainly to Haas. He's got to bring that fight to Seb Bogart now. He cannot afford to mess around. It's going to be, race 17 of 21. He needs to get those points, and he needs to get past that Haas of Bogart, doesn't he?
Yeah, this is crunch time now for Damie. Yeah, he needs to, as you say, just focus and concentrate on winning races. That's what it's going to come down to. He's got to win races between now and the end of the season. If he can get 2 or 3 wins out of these last 5, he'll be in with a shout.
Well, we'll see. Next week is Japan. It is an awesome track, and you can guarantee some real action. Certainly through that first sector, it is very, very tricky indeed. We will see you there next week. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your relations, tell your aunts, tell everybody that they've got to watch F1 tonight on a Thursday night. It's going to be a good night for me.
And a good night for me. That was a bit delayed, wasn't it?
It was a bit delayed.
I'd already gone to sleep.
Do that again. It's a good night from me.
And a good night from me.
We'll see you all next week. Take care.